check. And he never shuts up. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I think. Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Feels. I don't know why it doesn't feel like we did a show yesterday. I felt unfulfilled yesterday, and now that I'm back with you folks, I feel fulfilled once again. Just checking the chat real quick. It doesn't look like it's loading the YouTube chat. Not sure why. Hopefully we're live on YouTube. I had to. Sorry for being late. Right when I went live, it told me that my YouTube credentials were wrong, so I had to re-log in. Looks like there's YouTube. It's coming in now. Black Hat today. Congratulations to all who celebrate Black Hat with a goldfish on it. I love fishes because they're so delicious. Gone go fishing. Let me jump into the VC here with Jen, and we'll get going. All right, we forgot to test this. Jen, can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you.
Was the phone call I just gave to you, was that the first words you have spoken this morning? Sounds a little raspy today.
Yeah, I know. Besides yelling at my swan to get out of bed, our normal routine. Yeah. Besides that,
what did you tell me the other day? Like you can like talk to her through an Alexa or something?
Yeah, we've got. So how my house is laid out is my room's kind of on the opposite side. So I drop into her Alexa.
You drop into her. What does that mean?
That's what it's called.
It's called dropping in.
Called.
Okay, what does that mean?
You drop in. It means like it just turns on like an intercom more or less for her room, and so I can talk into it.
I got to learn how to do that for the old people in my life, just so I can fuck with them. Do you have to be on the same network to do it?
I'm wondering if you just log into their stuff, if you have access to it, you might be able to.
Well,
you're welcome, Maga Man.
Hey Alexa, turn on Chumbawamba. See if I can get anybody's Alexa to start playing. I get knocked down.
Oh shit!
Did anybody's
my daughter just went off?
Did it play Chumbawamba?
No, it played Baby Shark.
Oh, okay.
Here, hold on. Oh, it's her bathroom one. So there we go.
That's amazing. I got some people's to do it. That's great. Thanks, Sully. I haven't seen Sully in a while. I want to go on vacation with Sully one day after I saw his vacation pictures. I think we should all go on vacation with Sully. Did you see those?
I did not.
Out on the lake? Yeah,
no,
I'm pretty jealous of Sully with those vacation pictures. All right, well, why don't you do some announcements while you're here?
All right. Well, since it's Tuesday all day, even though you don't feel like it's Tuesday,
it feels like you're fucking with me. Remember that episode of The Office when they convinced Dwight it's the wrong day? It feels like you guys are all
honestly.
I
never got into watching The Office. I know a lot of people did, but it was never my thing.
That's crazy.
So,
all right.
But, anyways, so we're here. Day 2 of whatever this cesspool is of this country. So I'm glad you guys are all here with us for all the
goodness
stuff. If you haven't subscribed to us already, please do so. You can subscribe wherever you're watching. We have member-only events for our paid subscribers or members. So if you want to join us for those, we have a new thing coming up this upcoming Monday. So if you guys want to be part of that, make sure you subscribe. If you guys disagree with our TV, usually there's not a whole lot of people this early that are opposition, but if you are, you can DM me on Discord. Discord's the same as them.
I forgot to edit the video yesterday. You didn't do it, did you?
No, I didn't.
Fuck.
I can try, but I'm not.
Okay, I'll try and figure it out. Shit, I forgot.
I know how to do it, and probably would. I know how to do it. Anyways, besides the point. So if you guys disagree with RTP, if you want to come on, you can DM me on Discord. The Venmo username is my Discord username. So mentioning that if you want to DM me, we've also got that gift goal in the top left-hand corner. This is our job. We do this each day, Monday through Friday from 9:31 Pacific time. And to keep the lights on and be able to do the show, we need to knock out that gift goal. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking out that balance so that we can keep, showing up each day. Also check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch. Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. So I got a joke. A couple of people sent me some jokes. So this came from Tommy's Real Mom.
From who?
Tommy's Real Mom.
Okay.
Where do bad rainbows go?
I don't know.
To prison. It's a light sentence, but it gives them time to reflect.
Nanya, I assume, I don't want to say your government name here. I assume it was you said love you, mean it. I assume that was you, that the Cash App from yesterday. It just came in after the show had ended. It came in at looks like 1:26, and we ended around 1:15, so that's why I missed it. Sorry about that. Great joke by Jen. Republicans have a problem, a new problem, one that I didn't realize existed. I understood that the program existed, but I didn't know how popular this program is. Here's everybody's favorite pollster, Harry Enton, showing you a new problem that Republicans I don't think foresaw coming.
Yeah, one of the great underlying things I don't think is necessarily appreciated here is just how much of a comeback story we're talking about in terms of opinions of the Affordable Care Act. I mean, the net favorable rating, back when most of the provisions went into effect back in 2014, look at that. The Affordable Care Act is way underwater at minus 10 points. By the time of the first Trump term, you got it plus 6 points. Look at where we are now, plus 30 points on the net favorable rating. We're talking about the Affordable Care Act on the net favorable rating being 40 points higher than it was when most of the revisions went into effect the first time around back in 2014, 11 years ago. So the key thing to understand about this entire debate is Democrats want to have this debate now in 2025 as compared to 2014 when the Affordable Care Act was not popular. Now the Affordable Care Act is massively popular.
What's ironic is, like, in 2014, when you were looking at the Affordable Care Act, you saw that, like, insurance prices had gone up, which they were always going up, but Republicans always do a good job of blaming everything on the government and then saying that the solution to all of that is capitalism. And so in 2014, that's a difficult, like, nuanced conversations are difficult to have with Americans. We're bad at nuanced conversation. So you could say in 2014, yes, insurance premiums rose. They rose slower, but also, like, this is the problem with having a for-profit health insurance. And now we're in 2025, and the only thing that keeps people from being uninsured is the Affordable Care Act. Like, the prices have gone up so much since then that it has become popular, not because of anything Democrats did, not because of any sort of, like, messaging campaign, just because people are being slapped in the face with the reality right now that they will never be able to afford health insurance if it is run through private entities. You are always going to have the government have to give a helping hand, which doesn't make sense, right? At that point, once the government is involved and the government is paying these private healthcare insurance companies, you have the government paying for their profits. Right? We don't need the government to pay for people to go on lavish vacations. We don't need the government to pay for private jets. We don't need the government to pay for fancy buildings or commercials at the Super Bowl. We don't need any of that shit. And that's what America is being faced with right now. I do think that, like, things are going to get worse for a little bit. But I think coming out on the other end of this, when you see polling like this, if like, I'm just one of those people, I can't stay down too long. It really, really affects me. So I'm kind of a glass half full person, which I think pisses a lot of people off. But coming out of this, there is going to be mandates for universal health care. There's for a single payer system. There are going to be mandates to tax billionaires at a higher rate. There's going to be mandates that give workers more protection and workers the ability to collectively bargain. That's how bad this administration is. I'm always baffled, like, when the Republicans first show up in the chat during the day and they just start saying that everything's great. Like, you're such liars.
Thanks for the sub.
You're all fucking lying. This is cope is probably the most overused term when we talk when we're talking politics. Usually it's just like some dumb Trumper that doesn't have a response to anything that they're saying, or just anytime they see somebody upset at Trump and they say cope. But, like, this is what cope is. Cope is when things are falling apart and you're like, everything in America is going so great today. Republicans, while you're here today, I just want to remind you, you can come up here and talk to me about anything you'd like. If you think America's headed in a good direction, if you think things are going well today in America, just come talk to me about it. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. I've been listening to Republicans all morning trying to spin what's happening right now is like a great day for America. I don't know what they think like is so great. Obviously they all got the memo to go out there and tell everybody things are great. And obviously some of you saw them say that and you're here repeating it. But I haven't heard a single Republican yet today tell me why things in America are headed in a positive direction. I was a little late today. I watched like 30 minutes of Scott Bessent talking about the future of the economy. And even Scott Bessent is basically saying, like, we're going to have to weather a storm for like 2 years. And then after that, we believe that our policies will work. Like when you get them off of Fox News, you get them off of like CNN where it's a 2-minute clip, and you get them to sit down where they're in a friendly room, they'll unload. They'll tell you the truth. And the truth is they know that that for this to work, it's going to have to take a few years. And I don't think the American people are long for that, mostly because even when they tell you it's going to take 2 years, the end result isn't great. The end result is we have some more manufacturing jobs. That's it. And they think that that's gonna do it for Americans. We're like, oh yeah. Everything's more expensive. I burned through my savings for 2 straight years. I have nothing left. I'm deeply in debt. But at least there's a couple more manufacturing jobs. At least there's a few more people building shit in America. Wasn't the great day yesterday, Columbus Day? No, I had to work. Didn't Charlie Kirk want to get rid of Columbus Day? Was that Charlie Kirk that wanted to do that, or was that somebody else? You haven't missed much yet, Juju. All right. There was a clip that I didn't play because I didn't really care that much, where Donald Trump said he wasn't getting into heaven. As somebody who doesn't believe in heaven, I didn't give a fuck about that. And also, if heaven does exist, the Christian heaven, then I think he's right. He's probably not going to heaven. But not everybody agrees with that. Eric Trump wants to tell you why his dad's going to heaven. And this is alarming from the right. Like, Benny Johnson has become one of the biggest figures on the right. He's embedded all the time with Kristi Noem, like making propaganda films of ICE. There's this new move on the right to like openly talk about God all the fucking time, which is another like massive miscalculation. The Christianity's not as popular as they think it is. And by the way, when you do weird shit like this, we're gonna make fun of it. But here's Eric Trump with this. I don't know. Did he write a book? Does he have a book called Under Siege or something? Why is he on TV all the time? What's Under Siege? Oh yeah, it's his book. Yeah, that's a good guess. Eric Trump wrote a book. I was born into riches, and I accomplished nothing on my own, and our business sucked a bag of dicks until my dad became president, and now I just bilk other countries for bribes so that we're rich. Is that what the book says? Under Siege. My family's fight to save our nation. All right, here he is.
To that. President Trump saying he's not sure he's heaven bound.
Well, Ben, it's hard to believe that, I finally think the siege was worth it, if that makes sense, right? Everything they did to us was worth it yesterday when I saw what he did. And make no mistake, he is heaven bound. He's probably too humble in a certain way to say that. I can say that as a son because I've seen the hand of God on him for a very long time.
God damn it, if Donald Trump is one thing, he's fucking humble. That's what we know about him. Look at Benny Johnson there. What is this? Is he laughing that he said Trump was humble?
Guiding him through the most unthinkable, dark process. And then we get to a day like yesterday, which is, was so beautiful. But he is heaven bound.
It was not a beautiful day yesterday. None of this was a beautiful day. This was a bunch of people celebrating that they didn't do a fucking thing and let a genocide happen. And now they're doing the bare minimum. So they showed up and posed in pictures like they were so important. It wasn't a beautiful day. It was a devastating day. Yesterday was just simply a day to remember that they could have done all of this shit forever ago, but Benjamin Netanyahu owns him and owns the United States of America. That was not a beautiful day yesterday. It was pathetic. Donald Trump rolled out the same peace plan that Biden did, the same exact one. He got less hostages back, and then people are celebrating him like he's Jesus Christ.
I can tell you, maybe the one thing he does that might have influenced heaven is. I think there's a lot less people going to heaven, meaning they're going to heaven slower because he stopped the death and destruction around the world. If he wasn't heaven bound, he wouldn't have been alive after Butler. If he wasn't heaven bound, that flag wouldn't have folded.
Fuck that fireman, though. Fuck that dad. He had to die. That guy, he had to die in Butler.
Lit up like a perfect angel right above his head.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have cut it off there, but this is this is so weird.
Flag wouldn't have folded up like a perfect angel right above his head.
The flag wouldn't have folded up like a perfect angel above his head. It was the wind, man. He was just the wind, and then somebody's angle with the camera. Not everybody saw that, right? It was the only way to see that is if you were down below with a camera pointed straight up and making sure to get the flag in the shot. And we've all seen them like move the reporters into position. A perfect angel is just a flag blowing in the wind. Got it.
If he wasn't heaven bound, if he wasn't meant for this purpose, he wouldn't have beaten Hillary. We wouldn't have.
That's what God's like, fuck, I can't beat Hillary. I just can't do it. And then Donald Trump did, and he's like, you know what? I changed my mind. Forget about all that sexual assault stuff. That's fine. That's fine. All those drone strikes. That's fine. I couldn't beat Hillary Clinton, but you could.
Beaten Hillary. We wouldn't have got through the landmine of what Under Siege was, where they tried to destroy us in every way, shape, or form.
It's so weird. Guys, this is so fucking weird for the son of the president and one of the biggest content creators on the right in America, honestly, just talking about how God saved him. This is cult shit, and it's fascist shit. This is exactly what they did with Hitler. Everything he did was so extraordinary. Just the most basic things. Think of like Kim Jong Un and the way they talk about Kim Jong Un. Like literally everything. Can you believe it? Did you notice how he took exactly 33 steps to get to the car? That's a sign of a miracle. Just like anything he does now is a sign of a miracle. Do I think Benny Johnson actually believes this shit? I don't know. I mean, Benny Johnson is a complete and total fraud. He's just a failed actor, like most people that get big on the right, and they're propaganda machines. I don't know what he believes. I have no idea what Benny Johnson believes. It's bizarre. As soon as a Democrat is in office, he will completely change his tune. But I don't know. I think they're all just doing it for money. Is somebody trying to debate? Just a reminder for those of you that are here that are angry at me, you can come up here and debate. It's an open invitation. You just want to message GenDub1 on Discord. It's the same as the Venmo username. She'll bring you up. FOD said yesterday was like a commander's meeting in Gilead. Amy Lynn said it was the production crew. Wait, where did that go? Oh, there it is. It was the production crew that set it all up. Maybe. I don't know. I've seen that video where they say that the flag was lowered. I don't know if I buy it. To be honest, I don't know. I don't think that's true. Just based on, like, I'm watching the frame move. It's not just the flag that moves, like the frame moves too. So it does kind of look like it's been lowered down for that moment. Maybe it was, but I think Occam's razor says it was just the movement of the person who was filming. Amy said housing prices going down, especially in Florida and Texas. Jesus Christ. I watched a terrifying documentary about Florida, about these condos, and how there's this massive influx of available condos in Florida that are down like, $100,000 from 4 years ago. Florida's collapsing. All these people that have moved to Florida and Texas and Florida didn't reinvest in like their infrastructure. You guys are in for a lot of problems. A lot of problems. And either is some taxpayer money or your infrastructure is just going to collapse. I would hate to be somebody living in Florida and Texas right now, staring at the future, knowing that you can't afford it. The hurricane season coming up. That's right now, right? Hurricane season's coming up right now. I think, do we have any active hurricanes brewing in the Gulf of Mexico? What was the documentary called that I was watching? I might be able to find it. DM me. I'll have to go through my YouTube history. I don't know if it was a documentary. It was something like More Perfect Union, but I don't think it was More Perfect Union. I'll have to go through my YouTube history. If you send me a message on Discord, I can probably get that for you. All right, moving on. This is unbelievable. I don't know. Somebody's got to get this name. I didn't do enough research to give me the name, but there's a comedian, or maybe just a funny guy, roasting Chicago PD while they sit there and do absolutely nothing.
Nobody care about watching Sunday Night Football or nothing? Bears play tomorrow. Who y'all got? Y'all probably got Washington eating Donald Trump dick.
A comedian.
Fucking string bean casserole when you get home, dumbass. You got a bad bitch? You know you ain't got no bad bitch. You damn said no. Damn well you ain't had a bad bitch in your life. I fuck a wife. You know you gotta put your knife. I'm gonna let it shine, let the spirit fill you. You man, I was talking about your shoes. You know they ugly, bro. Aisha, like a girl that I never had.
It's looking dangerous out there in Chicago. Corey, just come up. Stop throwing a tantrum, Corey, in the comments and come up here and talk. I don't know. Like, you're having a hard time. We can talk about it. I know. I wasn't even talking about Trump. What are you doing? Why are you guys all just sitting there? Come up and talk to me. I'm a nice guy. Sex is cool. But have you ever heckled Andrew Cuomo for 10 straight minutes? That's the tweet. Climate defiance here. Here's Andrew Cuomo trying to get some words out and everybody not dealing with his bullshit.
New York, no one wants you in our state. No one wants you running for office. You are a disgrace to the public office. You are a blight to New York State.
The Department of Education has specifically said you don't have permission to be here. Once again, Cuomo does something without consent. This time, it's at a school.
That's a brutal line. That's a brutal fucking line.
I know for a fact that you're going to represent the working class because you take money from the Walmart family, the Murdochs, the CEO of Home Depot. Oh, fighting for us all the time. Ken Griffin, who owns all the penthouses in Manhattan. You represent billionaires and oil interests, and that is it. And you know it too.
Mr. Cuomo, you want to talk about how you created a fracked gas pipeline in New York City? You want to talk about how you stopped climate legislation in New York City, Mr. Cuomo? You want to talk about the 13th sexual harassment campaign?
Cuomo can't even pretend to care about his constituents after cutting $1 billion in school funding while giving his millionaire friends a tax break. He needs to rub them the right way.
By the way, Maggot, this is your guy now. He's on your team now. You guys don't get to be part of the, like, we hate Cuomo thing anymore. You guys have switched sides now. He's on your side.
After accepting $113,000 from Big Oil.
And all you can do is roll out rapists and cons and people who take money from fossil fuels while our planet is collapsing.
Homosexual! You can Google it. During COVID, everyone was a Cuomo-sexual. But if you Google it as 2 words, not one. Yeah.
Well done, Walter Masterson. I didn't have this on the outline, but it reminded me of this interview I watched the other day. Cuomo is fucking cooked. And he's just like, this is why we say he's a Republican, though, because he doesn't say anything. He doesn't answer any questions. And like I think he thinks that his voting base is Republican because it is. And you guys don't have morals and you don't fact check anything and you don't care about anything because you just hate the left, like to your own demise. It doesn't matter. Somebody could come up and offer to pay all your bills the rest of your life. And they'd be like, but I voted for Harris. You'd be like, I ain't doing it. Here's Cuomo being asked the most simple question and watch how incapable he is. Like, no, somebody's got to prep this guy. I don't know who's running his campaign, but it feels like they are always surprised by the very obvious questions that he's asked.
Mamdani believes that Trump is helping you, right? Trump has called Mamdani 100% communist lunatic. And Mamdani says Trump is clearing the path for you, and if elected, you will clear the path for his agenda. What do you say to that?
Let's go back to the word delusional. There is no governor in the United States of America, no elected official who fought more with Donald Trump than I did. No.
I don't know. Newsom, Adam Schiff, Pelosi, Schumer. I think I could name probably a bunch. J.B. Pritzker. I think all of these people fought with Donald Trump more.
You share a lot of his same donors right now. There are a lot of New Yorkers who are very excited about your campaign, who are also very excited about Donald Trump. Don't tell me that's not true.
Are there New Yorkers who gave money to me and gave money to Donald Trump? Of course.
Who are they? Who are these people that gave money to you and Donald Trump? You're trying to create this divide here, Andrew Cuomo. Who are these people?
Of course.
Why is that an of course?
Oh,
well,
oh, wait a minute, she says. Hold on. Why are you saying of course? It seems like the accusation is that you're working with Trump and you guys are in bed together. And then I asked you why you had the same donors. I would have come up with something like, you know what? I don't know why they supported Trump. Here's why they support me. He went with, of course.
Why not? If you are a New Yorker, you know Donald Trump, you know me.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows Donald Trump and Cuomo in New York personally. That's why they're giving. Both of them have terrible reputations in New York. One of them, both of them are sex pests, and one of them is a now convicted felon. That's why they're giving you money, you think? That's why the Waltons are giving you money? That's what's the Home Depot guy that's giving them money? That's why all these oil tycoons are giving you money? Because they just know you. They know you and Trump, and you guys are such stand-up individuals.
Many of them would give money to Donald Trump and give money to me.
Why?
And money.
Why? What do you and Donald Trump share in common?
We're New Yorkers.
Well, Mom Donnie's a New Yorker, though. Why is he not getting that money? Why wouldn't Mom Donnie be getting money? He's a New Yorker. More than Trump. Trump left. Trump's a Floridian now.
They know me, they know him.
But let's just stay on this, and I don't want to take too much more of your time because I'm surprised by this. You think that something about Donald Trump makes someone give Donald Trump a check and Andrew Cuomo a check. What is that thing that the two of you both share?
Yeah, what is it?
I think that people who know him and people...
It's corruption. It's racism. It's misogyny. It's keeping the working class down.
People who know me. I think
somebody get rid of Tony DiCaprio. Every time I look up, I have to see that same fucking thing. Tony. So just mute him. You can listen, Tony, but I get it. You want to say Kamala is a genius a million times. Now you've added super genius. We see you, Tony. You're a grown-up. Act like one.
What are those things?
The personal knowledge. He lived here. I live here. You may be a friend of Donald Trump. You may know me. You may contribute to him. You may contribute to me. There's no similarity. As a matter of fact, there is no two people have had a more hostile relationship than myself and Mr. Trump. No one had a more hostile relationship as governor and as president. And
yeah, it's because you guys are corporatists and you're shills. And the people that are here that are like, the people that are here who are like, things are actually going well. Like, you're just dumb. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that guy's not for you. Donald Trump's not for you. He's not making your life any better. He's only making things more difficult for you. But keep licking that teeth, would you? Decoding Fox News, who's one of my favorite follows on Twitter. Normally more serious stuff, but this was great. Jesse Waters is trying to make the Antifa frog a menace, and they're trying to make him seem scary. So Decoding Fox News plays this clip and then edits in Pam Bondi. And I just wanted to show this to you guys if you haven't seen it already, just to share it. I think that right now what we need to do if we want to stay relatively mentally sane, we just have to make fun of these idiots. Jesse Waters is a fucking idiot, and we need to make fun of him.
Antifa Kermit says he likes the taste of mace.
Can you tell me what happened when they put mace on you?
Nothing. I kind of coughed a little, but that was about it. That's about as much as it did to me. Nothing else happened. It was just a little peppermint taste, you know. I've tasted spicier. I'm Mexican. What do you expect?
Well, thank you, Mr. President.
He shouldn't have said that. ICE is going to definitely try and ID him now because he said he was Mexican.
Thank you for hosting today and focusing on Antifa and the terrorists that they are. Let's not make any mistake. These individuals do not just want to threaten our law enforcement officers, threaten our journalists, and the citizens of this country. They want to kill them. Their agenda is to destroy the American people and our way of life, and this president is standing in their way. He is stopping them from bringing their death and their destruction to the individual citizens of this country that just want to raise their kids and their grandkids in peace and in safety. I want to also thank everyone around this table for being so bold and so brave, for standing up and recognizing the threat that Antifa is to our way of life. By recognizing how advanced they are, how sophisticated their networks are, how they've infiltrated our entire country. One of the individuals we arrested recently in Portland was the girlfriend of one of the founders of Antifa, and that we are hoping that as we go after her, interview her, and prosecute her, we will get more and more information about the network and how we can root them out.
Get him. Get them, boys. Get the blow up animals. Get them, boys. Close the border, boys. This is such a nightmare. This is the dumbest fucking nightmare. I want to, Maga, while you're telling me how great Jesse Waters is, I want to talk about your president for a minute. This was sent to me by Jackie on Twitter, and I'll get to the article.
Not enough people are talking about this, but Trump's DOJ got approval by a federal.
Sorry, I don't know why that does that. This probably needs to be talked about. But while you guys are seething about Jesse Waters and how cool he is, let's talk about Donald Trump trying to take guns away.
Not enough people are talking about this, but Trump's DOJ got approval by a federal judge to seize the full membership list of a national firearm owners organization. That means the DOJ now has names, data, and identifying information on these owners across the entire country. This document says within 21 days of issuance of this judgment, those plaintiffs identified in paragraph 2B shall provide to defendants a verified list of their members as of November 6, 2020. The plaintiffs in this case are, of course, a group called the Firearm Owners of America.
Now, the Firearm Owners of America, I've looked them up. If you guys thought that the NRA was woke, you are right. And that's what the Firearm Owners of America want you to know. The Firearms Owners of America are right of the NRA. And they criticize the NRA. And I think that the NRA is probably giving the Trump administration some money here to get rid of this competing group. This competing group who doesn't capitulate to the government. Like these are like absolutists when it comes to First or Second Amendment. Like they think any firearm's good. And what they're saying is, hey, the right to bear a firearm is absolute here. You can't take firearms away from, guess who? Trans people. That's right. The far-right gun group is criticizing the Trump administration and the NRA because they are using their own personal politics to decide who rights apply to. Because they have threatened to take away the gun rights of trans people. Gun Owners of America, or Firearm Owners of America, criticized them openly, and now they're mad about it. So they're suing the Fire Owners of America, and they want a list of all the people who donate to them. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that so cool that our government's doing that? That when somebody criticizes them, they sue them and try and get a list of all their members. Isn't that so cool and freedomy? Isn't that awesome, MAGA? Isn't this not fascism? Not one bit.
This is one of those moments that completely flips the usual narrative, and it's very interesting to see, because for years now, Trump and his supporters have accused the Democrats of trying to take away all the firearms. But now Trump's own DOJ has issued something that looks very similar to the exact type of government overreach MAGA has been complaining about for years. And that's a federal level seizure of firearm ownership records. I don't think a single Trump supporter could possibly support that. This isn't a rumor or some sort of deep state plot. You can go look up the case number yourself. It was included in the document that I showed earlier. What this guy pointed out is very true, by the way. He says Trump is coming for your firearms. Nobody is safe in a police state. He's absolutely right. Authoritarian regimes take baby steps. First, they go after the people you don't like, then they go after a few more people, then eventually, when they come for you, nobody's left to defend you.
Yeah. Cool, MAGA. Cool. Colin said, are progressives the same as liberals? I'm going to be honest, like, I actually fuck this up all the time. I don't know where you would place me. I would say that you would put me somewhere on the left. I would say maybe a progressive. I don't think most progressives would like to be called liberals. So I don't think so. You guys, I don't know who considers themselves liberals. Usually the people criticized for being liberals are like fence sitters. That's kind of like, I think people view liberals as like kind of cowardly, and they don't really like, they like give and take. I would consider myself more of a progressive. I think a liberal would be more like Ezra Klein. Yeah, there you go. There you go, James. Liberals are barely left or progressive. Liberals are quite pro-capitalism. No, yeah. So, yeah, that's like the Ezra Klein folks. So, no. But sometimes I say liberal just because, like, I think that's like my Republican upbringing. I think it was just ingrained in my head, like the duopoly. I think one of the most alarming things in, like, moving from the right to the left is how, like, the left isn't a monolith. The left consistently eats their own. And I've talked about, like, a lot of times that's the criticism of the left, but like that's why I like being on this side. I like if I say something that my audience doesn't like, I hear about it. And if I have even if it's just a different opinion, like people will stand up and disagree. That's how this was meant to be. Like, that's why the two-party system doesn't work. But Republicans have realized, like, in a two-party system, you consolidate that power and you just go out, you try and consolidate a bunch of people who don't think for themselves. And then, like, they don't even know. You guys don't even know what your ideology is. It's just like whatever Trump does is good. It's a very lazy ideology, but which is good for you guys because you don't have to think about anything or, like, learn new stuff. You just say every day that you like capitalism and freedom in America, and that's the extent of everything that you believe in. Honesty is the best. I like that. Honesty is the best policy. I wish that happened more in politics. But I find in political debate, like left on left political debate, that's good stuff. You're gonna see a lot of honesty come out there. What was it? I'll skip that one. I'm gonna skip number 7, Casey. This is going to be hard to hear. I just want to show you that it happened. It's very difficult to hear what happened here. This is Donald Trump and I'm trying to remember his name, Prabowo Subianto, who's the Indonesian president. This mic was still on, and I don't think they realized it. And the hot mic caught this interaction. Said, in my region, I don't feel safe or secure. Can I meet Eric? Now they're setting it up. And then he says, or Don Jr. Didn't we just show a clip like 2 days ago of Eric saying he doesn't work with this administration when they brought up those bribes from Qatar? Like, let's actually, let me see if I can find it. I should put that on the outline. I think it was UAE, actually, not Qatar. I keep mixing that up. Here it is.
Sensitivity to people coming after you. And I'm not saying that you're wrong to be sensitive to it, right? Having the UAE come in that way and then they get the AI chips, you had to know it was going to be a problem.
Do you really believe, I mean, knowing me as long as you have, do you think I have anything to do with Washington, D.C.? I mean, I stay as far the hell away from Washington, D.C. as humanly possible, right?
Oh, okay. So why does he want to meet you then? Why did he ask to meet with either you or Don Jr.?
My father has nothing to do with our company, and you think I'm...
His father owns 70% of their company, and they own 30% of their company. So how does this company that is owned 70% of the company owned by his father, he has nothing to do with it? He stays away from Washington. He's not involved in these deals, but for some reason, somehow, is it the prime minister or the president of Indonesia? I don't know what they have over there. Somehow they know that they need to talk to Eric and Don Jr. right after they bring up, like, protection. Weird.
Really tracking AI chips that are flowing to, where in the UAE? I mean, the UAE is one of the biggest crypto markets in the world, right? I mean, as is South America is becoming a big one. Asia is becoming a massive one. I mean,
Paul, if we want to fix America, I think we ought to start in the schools with spelling. And you can't spell, so let's start with you there, Paul. Let's start with you there, sweetheart. You can't even spell.
Crypto is the fastest growing industry probably in the world.
All right, that now you're just going to go on about crypto. But what happened there? Why is this guy asking to meet with Eric or Don Jr.? He said, I don't even care, just whichever one. They're seeing what everybody else is doing. They see that you just give these guys a little bit of money, and then you have trade deals, and you have national security. And all it takes, by the way, Donald Trump could do all this shit. If this is really about, like, world peace, Trump could just do all this shit. He could give them weapons. He could sell them chips. He could do whatever it is that he wants to do. He doesn't have to make money on this. Why are you guys so cool with Donald Trump making billions of dollars off the presidency? Because it does, like, from an outsider's perspective, it seems like none of you give a fuck. It seems like when Donald Trump makes money, you think that's like a win for you too. We got an answer from that from any Republicans? Why doesn't this bother you? It doesn't even have to be through his meme coin now. It's just World Liberty Financial. It doesn't bother me because it's not corrupt. Because only if Donald Trump does something, it's not corrupt. We've said it once and we'll say it again. All these people that are doing crimes with Donald Trump, they are not protected. And when Trump is gone, they will not be protected. And so many people are going to go to jail for Donald Trump. So many people are going to go to jail. FOD said yesterday was like a commander's meet. Oh, I read that. Commander's meeting in Gilead. All right. This is actually a pretty cool sign. Please work, please work, please work. That. All right. So if you remember last week, Pete Hegseth changed the rules. He basically told every news outlet that they weren't allowed to report anything coming out of the Pentagon unless it was approved by him first, which is a massive, massive violation of the First Amendment. And I would have guessed that Fox News, OAN, Newsweek, all the regular people would not or would agree to this. And I kind of thought that everybody else would just capitulate and this would be our new normal. Doesn't seem to be the case. Media across the ideological spectrum said they will not sign the Department of Defense Department's restrictive new press policy by Tuesday's afternoon deadline. The Washington Post, New York Times, the Associated Press, and CNN said they wouldn't sign, as did Newsmax and the Washington Times. Matt Murray, the Washington Post executive director, said the proposed restrictions undercut First American protections by placing unnecessary constraints on gathering and publishing information. We will continue to vigorously and fairly report on the policies and positions of the Pentagon and officials across the government. The policy says reporters cannot obtain or solicit any information the Defense Department does not explicitly authorize. Any media representative who does not sign by 5 p.m. Tuesday, which is today, has 24 hours to turn in their media credentials and clear out of the Pentagon facilities. Yay! Yay, our government is getting rid of transparency. Freedom. Yay! If your government tells you that you can't call them authoritarian, if your government tells you that you can't call them fascist, if your government tells you that you can't report on them without permission, then it's a fascist authoritarian government, just like by definition. We're starting to see like the fracture here too. There are some Republicans that are here watching right now that are going to go, that's weird. I don't believe this guy because he's on the left. I don't believe him, but I'm going to check it out. Or I don't believe him, but if this comes up again, like I'm gonna file it away. And then there's the fascists, the ones that are celebrating this, who all along they just wanted to be fascists. And let me tell you something about fascists that I've learned from the research that I've done, and then debating. My last two like public debates were both unabashed fascists. Let me tell you about them. They're cowards, and they lie. And most importantly, they're very fucking stupid. The reason that people become fascist is they don't have any fucking answers and they're really fucking lazy. So they just want to blame everybody else for every problem. And they think that they convince themselves that the problem is a group of people, not that they're fucking morons. I've never met a fascist, debated a fascist that like could speak to any sort of policy prescription with any sort of accuracy. It's always, once we get rid of these people, the world will be a better place. And so if you find yourself like, I really like Nick Fuentes, I really like Andrew Wilson, I really like Steven Crowder, the reason that you like them is they say a bunch of hyperbolic shit without any real thought, and you agree with it because you don't think. And everything they tell you is, you're actually good, you're not the problem, it's everybody else that's the problem. It's women. Women don't want to sleep with you because of them. It's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. Right? Our country's $37 trillion in debt, and it's the immigrants' problem. Never mind the fact that 60% of our debt came from the Bush tax cuts and the Trump tax cuts, and that number's going to go up now with the one big beautiful bill. Never mind the fact that like if we didn't have the Bush presidency and the Trump presidency, we'd be in a much, much better place. Never mind all of that. Never mind the fact that we're spending something like $8 million, I think, a day on ICE. Never mind the fact that ICE is blowing through their budget. They had blown through their entire budget by like April. Yeah, never mind any of that stuff. Never mind the fact that these deportations, mass deportations, are decimating our economy. Never mind that, especially local economies, agriculture, hospitality. And not just because everybody that works there is here illegally, but the people that work there legally don't want to go to work anymore. They're looking for ways to leave. So you're decimating businesses, you're decimating our economy, you're driving us further into debt, and at the end of that, all you're going to have is less brown people, less money. That's it. You're just dumb and lazy. I want to make that clear. Like, you are the mediocre of the mediocre. Nobody in society has ever taken you seriously. And right now you have your moment. Right now, you guys, oh my God, you fucking groypers, you all think this is your moment. And you do have a moment because people are seeing clips of Nick Fuentes talking about Gaza, and they're like, oh, yeah, I think that too. I also think that we shouldn't do a genocide in Gaza. And then they're going to hear him speak later, and they're going to watch you guys speak. And every time you come up on my stream and you can't argue a point, you drop racial slurs and leave. The problem is, I think it's who is that guy? Mark? Is it Mark Norman? No, it's not Mark Norman. It's who's the not Mark Norman guy? It's the other comedian. Shit, now I can't remember his name. Somebody can tell me. He has a joke where he says, they ask him like why his dating life doesn't work, and he's like, I think the problem is like people get to know me. Like I'm good for like 5 days, but after that they're like, oh, you got some problems. That's gonna be all of you. Nobody's going to stomach your Groyper movement. People aren't moving towards this authoritarian regime. What they see is a coalescence of you thinking that this genocide in Gaza is unwarranted, and us thinking, and I guess the rest of the world thinking that too. And we think it's unwarranted because people shouldn't be genocided, and you think it's unwarranted because you hate the Jews. And that'll be exposed. All of that's going to be exposed eventually. So enjoy your moment in the sun, but please remember that the people that you guys are following are fucking dipshits, and they didn't get pushed off to the side. They didn't lose their audience and have small and hang out in the corners of the internet because nobody would let them forward. They got pushed to the corner of the internet because people don't want to hear that shit. People are smarter than that. That's why they were in the corner. So enjoy your moment in the sun, but it's almost over. The Atlantic, Wall Street Journal, NPR, Reuters, and The Guardian, along with trade publications Task and Purpose and Breaking Defense, said they were not signing either. Fox News, Hegseth's former employer, has not yet said whether he would sign the pledge. The Atlantic's editor-in-chief, Jeff Goldberg, who was added to a Signal group chat that included Hegseth earlier this year, said the constraints on journalists violate their First Amendment rights. As a result, the magazine staffers are not going to sign this. The media policy is the latest attempt by Pete Hegseth to clamp down on journalists covering the Pentagon. The Defense Department's media staff rarely conducts briefings, kicked out many mainstream news organizations from their dedicated desks, and restricted movement within the Pentagon facilities. What are you hiding? What are you hiding, Pete? Wasn't he maximum transparency guy? Isn't that what he said? Maximum transparency. We're going to store the greatness of the military. This is some deep state shit. This is some real deep state shit. Where you guys say that the press can't cover the military anymore? How'd you guys get here? How did you get from calling Obama the drone striker in chief to, I don't really think that journalists should be allowed to say what our military is doing. I don't think they should be allowed to report on the military. That's bad. How do you think that happened? Give me a better explanation than you're dumb. I'll wait. Give me a better explanation. I do wish I had a tenth of Nick Fuentes' audience. I do wish we had a bigger audience, but my audience is growing, and maybe we'll get there someday. Nick Fuentes is still a dumb bitch, though. And if you follow Nick Fuentes, you're a dumb bitch. And I don't, if you've been here for a while, you know, like, audience size isn't really my thing. Like, I don't do this for the audience. I would have a totally different show if I was just trying to get clicks, right? I would be on your side of the aisle. I'd be doing what Nick Fuentes is doing. I would have an army of angry incels blaming the world for all of their own problems, but I don't do that. I don't think a show like mine will ever get big like any of these mainstream shows. I don't think we have that here. Hegseth should drop the Soviet-style restrictions, reopen the briefing room, and follow the lead of President Trump and every other cabinet secretary by engaging regularly, confidently, and conversationally with reporters of all stripes, said Uliat, who served as a spokesperson for the National Security Council in Trump's first administration. That guy's fucked. You can't criticize the Trump administration. The only publication that says it will sign the agreement is One American News. Other conservative media pushback against the government. Newsmax, the right-wing cable network run by Trump ally Christopher Ruddy, said he's not going to sign it. Newsmax has no plans to sign the letter. We're working in conjunction with other media outlets to resolve the situation. Chris Dolan, president and executive editor of the Washington Times, wrote simply, no, our reporters will not be signing. The Washington Examiner's editor, Hugo Gordon, wrote that his outlet does not sign agreements with people we cover in any other area, and we do not plan to make an exception in this case. We're getting lists of people. We're tracking them down. We're threatening to take away their rights to own a firearm, and we're silencing free speech. That's America first. That's freedom, baby. Hegseth will be his demise. Maybe, I don't know. It is wild. Like, Trump has to have Hegseth. That's the thing about Hegseth. He's pretty safe. It's going to be really hard for Trump to find anybody else who will just like willfully defy the Constitution in the way that Hegseth does. I think Hegseth is as safe a person in that cabinet as possible, unless something comes out that like they just can't overcome. He's going to need Republicans in Congress to turn on him before that ever happens, and I don't see Republicans in Congress finding their spines anytime soon. Dems want to enslave American citizens. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You guys have concentration camps. This is what I'm saying. You guys are too dumb for this shit. I don't think you guys should follow politics anymore. Honestly, I think you should go do something else. Legos like beginnings Lego sets might be good for you. I could Schoolhouse Rock would be great. Learning about how our government functions. Like, just take a break from politics for a while and go learn some shit and then come back. But you can't be like, the Democrats want to strip away your rights while you're having your rights stripped away. Wow. So Trump's over in the Middle East, and Mike Johnson is here to tell you about they had a circle jerk yesterday. Mike Johnson wants to tell you about this really cool circle jerk they had.
I'm going to make an announcement today. It's the announcement in the U.S. that was made in the Knesset yesterday. I'm proud to tell you that together with my friend Speaker Ohana of the Israeli Knesset, the equivalent of our Congress, we're going to embark upon a project together to rally speakers.
What are we going to do? Do you guys know? What are we doing? What's this big project that the Israeli government's going about with our government?
Speakers and presidents of parliaments around the world so that we will jointly nominate President Donald J. Trump for next year's Nobel Peace Prize. No one has ever deserved that prize more, and that is an objective fact.
Stop using the word objective on the right. You guys don't know what it means. That's not objective. It's subjective, and he didn't do a goddamn thing. He sent his son-in-law, who doesn't work for the government, to do it.
As Speaker Ohana said before the Knesset yesterday, quote, "Whoever saves one life, it is though he has saved an entire world."
300,000 people are dead. We could have stepped in before this, long before this. Shut the fuck up.
That's what some of the rabbis there would say, some of the sages he noted would say.
Yeah.
It's an indisputable fact that no president has undertaken the work.
Stop using the word indisputable also. This is how oligarchs speak. This is how autocracies speak about their leader. They use words like this incorrectly all the time. Objective, undeniable. All of these things are subjective and deniable. This is weird, folks. Please show me another time in American history where the Speaker of the House, a separate branch of government, took time out of their day to announce that he and other members of the genocide committing party have decided that they are going to go out on an all-out campaign on giving Donald Trump an award. He needs an award, guys. It's very important that Donald Trump gets that award. It's important. Are you? This is exactly the same as it, like, let's say it's like 1942. We had who was the Speaker of the House in 1942. Get this accurate. Anybody know off the top of their head? If somebody knows this without Googling it, I'm going to be blown away. Sam Rayburn was his name. Imagine Sam Rayburn getting up there and like, you know what? We over here in Germany at the behest of our guy Hitler, we've decided that we're going to give an award to Charles Lindbergh for all the peace that he's advocating for over here in Europe.
Of saving lives and pursuing peace with such determination and with such remarkable success as President Trump. And under his leadership, we are witnessing the dawn of a new golden age, not just for America, but for the entire free world. The world is changed by these actions and strong leadership.
It's all different. It's so much better now. There wasn't even sunshine before. I'm going to come.
American strength is good for free people around the world, as we say always, and peace through strength is maintained. There will be more.
So stupid. So fucking pathetic and stupid. Objectively, it's pathetic. Undeniably, it's pathetic. You guys don't see this? None of you see it? If this was the North Koreans, you guys would be like, these guys are insane. Look how they talk about their leader. And then you guys do it too. So far we've had Eric Trump saying daddy's getting into heaven because a fireman took a bullet for him and a flag looked like an angel and he beat Hillary Clinton. Those are the big things that bring you into heaven. And now we've got he showed up for a press conference after a genocide raged on for 2 years, 300, 400,000 people dead. Now we're like, isn't he amazing? He said he would do it on day one. I know it's the 10th month, but he did it. By the way, do you guys remember also, this has been floating around. Somebody sent it to me and I didn't play it, but do you remember during the election when Netanyahu came and met with Biden and Harris? And then he met with Trump, which is a clear violation of the Logan Act. And the reporting came out from multiple sources that Trump was telling him not to agree to a ceasefire with Biden because it would help Harris. And he didn't want Harris to win. And Netanyahu, it appears, just agreed to keep, because Netanyahu wanted to do the genocide, right? So he's like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, this is great. Remember that? And then Trump's like, I'm going to do it on day one. Netanyahu respects me. 10 months later. That's a lot of respect from Netanyahu for Donald Trump. 10 months later, and we still don't even really necessarily have anything binding. If Netanyahu starts bombing again today, do you think Trump's going to do anything about it? What do you think he'll do? He'll go on Air Force One and he'll be like, I'm very disappointed in Netanyahu. I thought we were better friends than that. Roy said, President of peace while raging war against our own citizens. Yeah. Amy said, they forgot Biden had a ceasefire and got more hostages released than Trump. Facts. And Trump just copied the ceasefire agreement. Hey, howdy, 9 months, thanks. Not to mention all the people who will die because of this bill. Leanne said, I'm in Cave Creek for the month. You weren't sure if you fireworks, like a grandma want to meet up. Just kidding. Leanne, are you propositioning me right now? Is that what that is? I don't know what that means. Burned out medic, thank you for the super chat. Let me check over here too with Jen. Still calling it a genocide. Yeah, we're still calling it a genocide because it's a genocide. That's why we're going to continue to call it that. I don't like it when you use words that make us look like the Nazis. Yeah. I probably wouldn't like it either, but I would just probably stop being a Nazi if I were you. I wouldn't just like keep doing it. Did I miss any here? Brother Bob said, just because, love you guys from Brother Bob. Love you too, Brother Bob. Thanks for being here. Update this. I'll do this while I update it. Like if I get a pool noodle and go to the park and LARP with my friends and dress up in costumes, how's that any different than being a Republican? It's not any different. This is the dumbest LARP too. LARPing as patriots while you worship a king. It's by far the dumbest LARP I've ever seen. Even Candace Owens, she's not having it, and I fucking hate Candace. And I'm gonna be clear on like this is pretty coded. Candace Owens is doing what Nick Fuentes does, what Andrew Wilson. I don't even know what Andrew Wilson does about this. What anybody who dares to speak out a little bit about Israel now, they all are just anti-Semites. And now they have this opportunity to be right. But listen to her language. Even when Candace Owens is correctly pointing out that Trump doesn't deserve a Nobel Prize for this, and that this was an ethnic cleansing, she still finds her ways to be anti-Semitic.
And Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize, by the way.
Israel broke the ceasefire already? Jen, will you give me details on that? I haven't seen that.
For the planned ethnic cleansing so that they could profit on the land and turn it into a beach.
Amber Powell, it meets all the... I assume you're a historian. I assume that you're somebody who has studied genocides and you label them. So I'm guessing you're right. You, Amber, you're right, but not every other historian who says that it's a genocide. Get fucked. Are you one of those people that pay? By the way, you guys can take $7,000 all you want for your posts for Israel. Nobody's buying your shit because your arguments are fucking stupid. We have phones. I can watch the genocide on my phone. Every day I can watch it. So when you come in and you're like, it's not a genocide, I'm like, huh. Why are they putting 60 people in a grave right now? Why are those children? What's going on? How come it's only Palestinians? Why did you? Oh, there you are double tapping a hospital? Oh, okay. Yeah, totally not a genocide. That's the problem you guys have. All this propaganda shit worked before we could just watch it. Now we can watch it. It doesn't seem like you're going to go very far with that explanation.
It's not, guys, it's not a genocide. I take issue with you saying genocide.
Oh, what is it then? Just mass murder? What would you like me to say? Ethnic cleansing? Is that better? Mass murder? I don't know what word you want me to use, but it's a genocide.
So let me say this. This is our never again, okay? This is a Holocaust. A Holocaust just happened. A real Holocaust just happened.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? This is a Holocaust. A real one this time. Not like the other one.
We will never forget this. You need to tell your children what happened in Gaza. You need to tell them exactly who did it, exactly whose families were involved in this. And when you hear in the future somebody tell you...
No, the word is not war. Those children who were sniped in the head, those people in the hospital, that wasn't war. That's a genocide. You guys are just gross.
Like, we're going to Gaza Beach for a vacation. You need to look at them like they are the absolute vermin of our society, because they are. They are.
Vermin. Ooh, that's loaded. That's loaded.
Are. Their children will be cursed, okay? If you go and you play in the sand.
Oh, curse. Oh, curse. Where have I heard that? Where have I heard that about predominantly Jewish people being cursed? That's some book. I can't remember what book that was.
Where you know that your forefathers planned to mass murder children, you will be cursed. Every person who steps foot on that, every family that is set to inherit what they did, they will be cursed. Your children's children will be cursed. Gaza belongs to nobody but the Palestinians. So when you begin to move the Israelis in there, and when the Trump hotel gets built on there, I caution the rest of the world to stay far away from that cursed land, because something is coming. You can't commit that much evil in broad daylight and not think it's going to come back to haunt you. Anyways.
I like when we show the right being anti-Semitic. The response is, "Oh, why don't the left doesn't like Jewish people?" I have no problem with Jewish people. I have a problem with Zionists. Zionists can lick my asshole. They can go fuck themselves. By the way, Zionists existed during the Holocaust. Did you know that? You know that the Zionists worked with the Nazis? Did you know that until it came their turn? Did you know that? Zionism is again, it's just like, it's weak-minded, pathetic bitches who want to blame everybody else for their problems. Zionism's a joke. Zionism should be in the far corners of the internet. That's where it's going to go. It's where Candace Owens is headed. That's where all of you dipshits are headed. And I'm tired of you Israeli propagandists. Like, honestly, fuck you. You're not doing well. I don't even kick you out of this chat anymore because nobody's buying what you're saying. You get absolutely demolished every time there's a microphone in front of you. You like, the tactics are crazy for you guys. Like, I can watch a video of a kid get sniped, and then you go, "Oh, well, what's his name? What's his name? If that's real, what's his name?" You think I have that name? You think I'm going to get a good record of who these people are? We'll have the names. We'll get the names, but no journalist can go in there. It's not like we have like this network of people that are giving you accurate numbers all the time because they're dodging bombs. Israel's going to lie. Israel lies all the time. Israel lied about October 7th. You now have IDF soldiers going on the record now saying, like, "Hey, most of this was staged. We were just killing people we were killing people that we knew weren't Hamas, that were running away from us, and we just killed them anyways." These war crimes are horrific. None of your words matter to me anymore. None of them. And they don't work on anybody else. You guys can come in. I hope you keep coming in here for years and be like, "That's not what happened. It's not a genocide." Oh, keep saying it. Proudly identify yourselves as Zionists. Your numbers are dwindling. Your days in the spotlight also dwindling. What? Forgot what this was. Hold on, real quick. Oh yeah. I don't even know what to say about this. I'm just gonna make you guys watch it. This is one of the cringiest things I've ever seen in my whole life.
Just 2 days and we are through. Then we start from the beginning. Hashem's holy words begin anew. We all have come to help Hatzalah.
By the way, that guy right there, he works for our government. Mike Huckabee works for our government. Cool. This is so cool.
And we want to help it thrive. Based right here in God's holy city. Throughout this land, it's saving lives. Sweet home, Yerushalayim. Yeah! Where God's words ring so true.
I'll make you watch it all.
Sweet home, Yerushalayim. Home to you.
Ironically, this guy and all these other people believe in a different God. They're actually opposed to each other, and they apparently haven't figured this out yet.
Well, friends don't think it's Jewish. The United Nations call us crooks.
Yeah, 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 because you are crooks. Everybody in the world thinks we're dirty. Everybody in the world thinks we're Satan. Yeah, dude. Yeah, because you're murdering innocent people right now. Yeah. And you're crooks. Mike Huckabee's like, they're not crooks. They give me so much money. How could they be crooks when they're giving me all this money?
But Donald Trump claims it's all Israel. Just as it says in all the holy books.
Fucking killed it. This is why I say Zionists fucking suck. Your music sucks. Your ideas suck. Your arguments suck. If you guys aren't watching on YouTube right now, you should see the absolute fucking Zionist meltdown in the chat right now. It is mwah, mwah. Just fuck this guy. This guy sucks. This guy doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what Zionism is. What, we're not supposed to defend ourselves? October 7th. Ah! No, you guys suck. You guys fucking suck. And the world knows that you fucking suck. And they should hire better people to come onto these streams and argue because you guys fucking suck at this. Every time you open your mouth, I'm more convinced. I'm like, oh, God, yeah, you guys are worse than I thought. You're actually all dumber than I thought. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, folks. The whole world thinks you're fucking disgusting. That's a tough thing. Like, I wake up every day and I know that there's going to be a bunch of you here that hate me, but it helps me sleep at night knowing that the people that hate me the most are the dumbest people that I know. So I appreciate that. Fuck the IDF, fuck the country of Israel, and fuck Zionism forever. And you guys can just sit there and melt down in the chat some more. We're just going to keep laughing at you. I hope you enjoy your day today. I made a TikTok about this, but I wanted to show you guys the full clip. You remember that circle jerk they had in the White House the other day where everybody argued about who was the biggest victim? That one lady like put on makeup to make her black eye look worse. Like she took off her makeup and then let her hair like straight and made herself look more like a victim. And they all were like, oh, damn, I should have thought of that. I should have like painted on a battle scar. And they just sat around there like, we're actually the ones that are the victims. Well, one of those bitch-ass bitches was Jack Pussabitch here. And Jack Pussabitch, I don't even know where they are, but they're still just using Charlie Kirk as a way to push Nazism and fascism. And maybe Charlie Kirk would have been happy with that. I don't know. He seemed like a fascist to me. But they can't let it. They can't stop using this picture for clout, which is really a super cool thing that you guys are doing. Somebody gets killed, and then you just use this picture for clout forever. Here's something Jack Pussovich said that some people think it's terrifying. I just want to remind people that nobody gives a fuck about Jack Pussovich or any of the people in that Oval Office meeting. They don't have near the sway that they think they do.
And we went down, the President of the United States had us in the White House the other day, and we were talking about the violent left, and we were talking about the Antifa networks. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, the networks are real. We know they're real. We're not playing games anymore, folks.
This is called fear mongering. That's what this is. This is, and I'm going to show you, this is coordinated. It's coordinated on the right. They're all coming out and messaging, and they want you to be scared of the left. And they want you to justify what they want to do, which is to use like military action and police action against people who think differently than them. And again, I don't think it's going to work, mostly because like this guy's obviously like if you went on a date with Jack Pussovich, you would immediately text your friends and be like, oh, this guy's for sure like a serial killer. He doesn't smile. He's angry all the time. He also is the guy that said we're going to end democracy. So if he's right, if he's the leader of you guys, like he does want to end democracy and replace it with Christian nationalism. Those are his exact words, just so we're clear. We didn't finish the job, or we didn't quite make it on January 6th. Now we're here to finish the job, he said. He's just a fascist. He's angry, stupid, lonely, blame everybody else for your problems fascist.
We're not playing games. We're coming for you. We're coming for every single one of you. We got Bondi, we got Bongino, we got Cash, we got the whole 9 yards.
We got the fucking D team, dude. Get a better team. We got Bondi. She can't even respond to people without notes. We got coked out Cash, who if he ever comes to get you, just pick him up and put him in your pocket and hold him there. That'll be fine. And you got Bongino, who's just going to scream at you. That's the D team, dude. That's a bad team. If you're building out fascism and you're building out a war machine, I'd recommend not dipshits being your leaders.
The Joint Terrorism Task Force, we're coming for you. And I don't care what your last name is, by the way. I don't care if your last name is Clinton. I'm going to say it. Should I say it, folks?
I'm going to say it, guys. I'm about to be brave. I'm about to say we're coming for the Clintons. Yeah, we've heard that since 2015. You guys don't ever do shit. None of you ever do anything. You all just talk. That's why the audiences are getting smaller, because we've all heard this same shit for 10 years. None of you do anything. You're not going to do shit. You're too stupid and cowardly.
I don't care if your last name is Soros, all right? We're coming.
So brave.
We are coming. So you better keep your money clean, because we're going to follow the money every single place it goes. And you got these people saying they're going to flee the country. Well, I'll tell you something. You can run, but you can't hide.
Oh, fucking stupid. I'm going to tell you people. They're not there, bitch. They're not there. These are your people you're talking to right now. Why are you acting tough in front of 86 people right now?
You can't.
Oh. 8 dudes chanting, and Jack Posobiec is rock hard right now. Yeah.
Letitia James found out about that, didn't she?
So hey, if you have a problem with me saying that Christian nationalism isn't a form of government, don't take it up with me. I'm not the dumb bitch that said that. Are you calling me dumb for quoting him? Take it up with this dumb bitch. He's the one that said we're going to replace democracy with Christian nationalism. He said that. What are you getting mad at me for? He said it. Don't get mad at me.
James Comey found out about that, didn't he?
No, he didn't. No, he just had to go to court, and he's going to win that case. The stuff you guys will celebrate is unbelievable. We got him. No, you didn't. You didn't have shit. You know what? You know what the DOJ attorney said when they went to court with Comey? The judge is like, all right, let's do this thing. And they're like, hold on. We haven't reviewed the file. The DOJ attorney said, hold on, we got to review the file. We don't really know what's in the file yet. And then he's like, wait, hold on. You brought a case? It got through a grand jury, and you don't know what your case is? You need more time to prepare a case that you already brought? That's how that court case went. It's going to go really well for you guys, for sure. By the way, Trump knows that these aren't going to happen. The dirty secret is Trump knows none of these charges are going to stick. He just wants them to pay lawyer fees. He just wants to hurt them because they prosecuted him for crimes that he absolutely committed and was found guilty of. He just wants to go after them. And he knows that he doesn't have a case here. And that's why they're all celebrating it like they've done something. They've done nothing. He's just going to pay lawyer fees. He's going to win. He may countersue the government to pay those lawyer fees. None of you will care. In fact, when this eventually is either thrown out or he's found innocent, all of you will just be like, oh, the court systems are corrupt. We got to get rid of all the judges. If the judges don't rule in the way that we wanted them to, we got to get rid of them because you're dumb and you're stupid and you don't think for yourselves and you follow dumb, stupid people who don't think for themselves. And it's led all the way to the top with the dumbest president that we've ever had, who is just a vindictive little toddler who's suing people because he got caught doing crimes.
And I am reliably told that there are going to be a number of more names that everyone in this crowd knows that are going to be finding out very soon.
Finding out what? What are we finding out here? We don't even know what James Comey did. They won't even tell us what the crime is that he committed. This is just fascist shit. And fascists speak to dumb people. Dumb people fucking love fascism. The people who love fascism the most are like mediocre people with means. People who know they haven't really earned what they got in life, but if things start going bad, they will never blame themselves. Just lazy thinkers. That's who's cheering here. Yeah, get them, guys. Cool. You think that that we give a fuck that you are investigating James Comey, a Republican who was appointed by Donald Trump? Or I guess not. Selected by Donald Trump to run the FBI. You think we're going to be upset that you guys took down somebody from the FBI who's a Republican? And you're not even going to do it. But even if you did, what does that have to do with the left? What does that have to do with Antifa? What does Letitia James have to do with Antifa or the left? She did mortgage fraud. Gotcha. Oh, Comey said something that wasn't true in front of Congress. Gotcha. Oh, you got us twice. How will we ever recover from losing James Comey and Letitia James? How will we go on? Some dipshit just screaming alligator Alcatraz. This is really what you guys are. You just scream catchphrases all the fucking time. Oh, thanks, Jen. I'll pull that up in a second. Thanks, Danny.
He says alligator Alcatraz. What should the New Jersey one be? We don't have one.
Watch this. Watch how clever these people are. He just wants a name for the New Jersey one. He's going to crowdsource this.
One for New Jersey yet. What do you think? The billboard. How about the billboard? How about the boardwalk brig? Can we do the boardwalk brig? We'll have them right here. You can throw tomatoes. It'll be great. Look, folks, the people in New Jersey are amazing. And I will say, as a guy from Pennsylvania, we've always got that rivalry back and forth. But I wish that I were someone who is from New Jersey right now, because I tell you something. I wish that I could cast a vote for Jack Ciattarelli to be the next governor of
All right, it was a Jack Ciattarelli rally. Are these not seeds of hate? I don't know what seeds of hate is. I don't know what that means. That's not a thing. I don't think. What are seeds of hate? What is this? A group of current and former VA physicians has signed a letter raising urgent concerns about Trump admin healthcare policies that could negatively affect the lives of all vets. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're ripping healthcare away. They don't care about any of you, and you cheerlead them. Here's the rest of the messaging. Here's now, Republicans aren't quite as psycho as Jack Pussabitch, but here we have Mark Emmer. Is it Mark? I think it's Tom Emmer. Who's Mark Emmert? he a commissioner? Is that the baseball commissioner or something? Who's Mark Emmert? NCAA. That's who he was. All right. That's how I mix up. This is Tom Emmer. They're just going to tell you now that really what we have here and why we can't solve these problems in America is because the left just hate America. We love America and the left hates America. And that works on Fox News because once again, dipshits watch Fox News.
So you agree that that's what this is about, that they want to be there and sort of, punch their chest there, that they're fighting Trump in this No Kings rally. That's what this is about.
Yeah, we call it the Hate America rally because you'll see the hate for America all over this thing when they show up. Yeah, I mean, that's the room.
And what they're gonna show is they're gonna show signs that are like making fun of Trump, and they'll be like, "See, they hate America," because they don't know, like, America to them is Donald Trump. That's all America is at this point for Republicans.
Maria, the rumor is that they can't end this shutdown beforehand because this small but very violent and vocal group is the only one that's happy about this. If they shut it down beforehand, then they've got to deal with that group beforehand. If they make it through that, then at least they've made it through their Hate America rally, and then they can get this thing done.
So you agree that that's what this is about?
They just hate America, guys. Diet Pepsi said for the triggered Zionist tears. Xander said he's got the plead the Fantastic Fifth. Beautiful. You're going to see this from Republicans all over today. I think I have a couple more examples here, but this is, here's Sean Duffy, former reality star who now is just fucking up the FAA every day. And transportation in general, I guess.
But again, the No Kings protest, Maria, really frustrating. I mean, this is part of Antifa, paid protesters.
Yeah.
It begs the question, who's funding it?
Oh.
But yeah, Democrats want to wait for a big rally of a No Kings protest when the bottom line is...
By the way, they're also making this up. There is no Democrat on record saying that that they are waiting for the No Kings protest in order before they open the government. In fact, there's a clip, I think it's J.D. Vance saying, like, I might have it, I don't remember if I have it or not, saying that it's a rumor. They started this rumor. They just started a rumor that, like, oh, we're waiting till after the No Kings protest because they want to do anything. This is going to be a massive protest. And so they're out in full force because more than anything, all this administration does and all the Republicans do is run cover for Donald Trump. They could be legislating. They could be doing actual government work. They could be talking openly every day on these news programs about how they're going to fix healthcare. But instead, they're taking every waking moment to frame what's going to happen this Saturday is an anti-American, I hate America protest that is going to be funded by George Soros. God damn, if George Soros pays every protester, he's going to be broke. It's going to be the end of it. I don't know. I'm waiting for my check from Soros. This is going to be massive. This will likely be the biggest protest in American history, and they are desperate to make it seem like it's fabricated. This has been on the books. We maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, somebody came up on Friendly Friday, and I don't remember who it is, but whoever you are, I'm bad with names. Every time you remind us of these No Kings protests, and 3 or 4 times you've shown us when they were going to have protests. We've been talking about this for months. What we knew the government shutdown was coming to. This was all like a big diabolical plan. No, these guys are bitches, and they can't deal with the fact that most of the country doesn't like Donald Trump, and that most of the country thinks Donald Trump is a fascist, and they're going to go out and they're going to protest about that. So they have to make it seem like the only way people would be against Donald Trump is if they're paid to be against Donald Trump.
Who's running the show in the Senate? Chuck Schumer's not running the show. The No Kings protesters or organizers are running the show. Is AOC threatening a primary against Chuck Schumer? Is she running the show?
She is.
But you need a strong leader in the Senate to take control and make decisions. And Chuck Schumer's blown in the breeze. He has no power, no authority, because he's given it up to his primary opponent, potentially in AOC, or to the No Kings protester organizers, and it's shameful.
And by the way, even if they did hate America, who cares? You're allowed to hate America and be here. Why are Republicans so obsessed with legislating feelings and words? It seems to be the only thing you guys really care about is what words people can say and what feelings people can have, how people can identify. It seems to be the only thing you care about, because you don't give a fuck about, like, the deficit. You don't give a fuck about the economy. You don't give a fuck about healthcare. It seems like the only thing that any of you care about is that people think differently than you and they shouldn't be allowed to do that. What other things do you stand for, Republicans? I'll give you an opportunity here in the chat. What is this administration standing for? What policies are they pushing for that will help you? Here's your opportunity. Other countries will protest. That's true. Good point, Peace for Peace. Other countries are also joining in the No Kings protests. Anything? So that argument you made saying liberals don't hate America was in bad faith? Shut the fuck up. None of you? None of you? None of you? None of you? Dublin, I saw it. You don't need to spam it, bud. It was a dumb fucking comment. Crime. You care about crime. That's right. We care about crime. We care about crime. Crimes at historicals. By the way, I saw recently in Chicago, less than 1% of the people that they have picked up in Chicago ICE have any criminal history at all. There you go. Keeping us safe, baby. Keeping us safe. Less than 1% at a time. No, I know you voted for deportation because you're racist. Because you, again, like you care about what people look like and what people think. None of this is helping you. Crime prevention. If you guys voted for crime prevention, why did you cut police budgets? Why in the one big beautiful bill did you cut grants to police departments? You voted for fascism. That's what you voted for. And they tell you it's about crime, but I hate to say this so many times. The problem, the disconnect that we have here is when you say you voted for crime prevention, you were too stupid to know what you were voting for. So all they had to say was crime prevention, and you're like, yay, and they gave you fascism. And you're like, this isn't fascism, it's crime prevention. You ever heard of Kristallnacht? You ever heard of that? You guys know about Kristallnacht? Let me tell you about Kristallnacht. Hitler took his own police and he went through the streets, specifically in places where his opponents were. And he went through those streets and he arrested people for petty crimes and he beat the shit out of people and they killed people. And then they put them all in concentration camps. That's what fascists do. Fascists take the government and they go and they raid streets and they trample all over the rights of American people to find criminals, and then they treat those criminals horrifically. I just saw a video, somebody was tased to death. Right? They had a heart condition. ICE grabbed them and tased them to death. Well, he shouldn't have been here. That's what you guys said, but that's what they said in Germany too, right? Well, these Jewish folks, they shouldn't have been here. Well, they shouldn't have been openly gay. Well, they shouldn't have talked about being trans. You know, that's the problem. Problem is, there's a lot of these ideas that they have that we don't like, so I guess we'll throw them in a concentration camp. That's the biggest problem. Everything you voted for, like they lied to you about, they told you it was one thing and it's not, and you're watching the reality, and you're like, I'm not going to accept that reality. I'm going to keep pretending this was about crime. This was definitely about crime. We definitely need the federal government to roam the streets here. We need the military on our streets all the time. You voted for fascism. And if you think that fascism is the only way for you to have a safe country, fine. Admit it, though. Don't keep getting mad at us for correctly identifying that what you voted for and what you're doing is fascism. Just be honest. Stop getting mad at us for correctly pointing out that you're fascists. You just don't like the label because, again, dumb, soft. That's what MAGA is. It's dumb and it's soft. Most easily offended, thin-skinned group of bitches I've ever seen in my life. You called us fascists. We're not fascists, so to get back at you, we're going to be fascists. Oh, okay. Makes a lot of sense, huh? Fuck around and find out, says guy from the YouTube chat that's not doing a goddamn thing, just beating off to ICE. Yeah, fuck around and find out, baby. You're not doing shit, dude. You're a bitch, too. Everybody cheerleading that, you're just bitches. Thin-skinned bitches. Because you didn't like being called fascist when you are fascist. Sorry about that. We'll try and be better next time. Hey, this is cool, though. This is a pretty cool thing that's happening in Trump's America. Look at these troops. Look at these awesome troops here. Oh, they're in food lines. They don't have any money. So now they have to go to food banks.
As I take a step aside here, there is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is.
If you're responding to me calling you a bitch with physical threat, That's why I call you a bitch, because you can't use your words. You have an open invitation to come up here and talk to me and use your words and use your brain. I'm calling you dumb bitches, and you're like, we're not dumb. We're not bitches. Give me your address. Too dumb to have a conversation. Too big of a bitch to jump up here on the screen, and you're like, oh, come fight you. And none of you dumb bitches will come fight me because you don't mean it. You just don't have anything to say, so you threaten me. I get threatened every day. Every fucking day I get threats. I don't care. And if one of you harms me someday, guess what? You're still a bitch. And if I ever wind up missing, if anybody ever harms me, I hope every one of you shows up to that person's trial and you call them a bitch repeatedly. Because if you can't handle words and you become violent over words, you are a bitch. I'll say it. I'll say it loudly and proudly. Bitch made. Come up here and have a conversation. If you're not a bitch, prove it. Let's have a real conversation about these policies. I don't want to sit here and argue and call names all day, but what am I supposed to do? I beg you guys to talk to me. You won't do it. You just call me names, and then you're like, I'm going to fight you. This is why I call you bitches. And any amount of threat, any amount of you can do as many push-ups as you want. You can have 1% body fat. You can be 6'4", 225 pounds of solid muscle, just like your king, Donald Trump. I'm still going to call you a bitch because you're a bitch if you have to resort to violence instead of words. And by the way, your president's putting troops in food lines. Dope.
Is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today to previously?
So when we...
Holy Christ. You have to come up here to talk to me, Cameron Lindsay. This is the last time I'm saying it. I will not debate you from the chat. You have to come up here. I'm not going to read your fucking chat and not do the show that I prepared. Reach down there, find your nuts, add Jen on Discord, come up and talk to me. I'm not debating you little bitches from the chat. What kind of bitch shit is that? I don't want to use my voice, so why don't you just read all the things that I'm saying through all of these comments? Because I'm not going to do that. And if you're not a bitch, come up.
First started coming, there definitely wasn't this amount of people. It was a lot, but it wasn't this amount to where it wrapped around the building. But lately it has been a lot. Like we were here last week and we were in line for like 2 hours.
In a normal week, we usually run out of food about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Last week, we ran out of food about 10:30.
As I take a...
Yay, MAGA! Yay! The food banks don't have enough food anymore. The lines used to be small. Now the lines are big. And look at all these people in uniform. Yay! We're doing it. We've made America great again. And all you have to do to end the government shutdown is agree to pay Medicaid for people who deserve Medicaid and not cut ACA subsidies that you use to give tax breaks to billionaires and make sure that people can have health care. That's all the Democrats are asking for, that you don't cut money for health care while Americans are struggling. And you're like, nah, fuck that. Put them in food lines.
Step aside here, there is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today?
I forgot that. It was only 46 seconds. We've already played that part. Cool, guys. That's a cool party you got there. You could end the shutdown tomorrow. You just have to give poor people their Medicaid back. That's all you have to do. That money that you handed out to billionaires, you have to say, like, sorry, guys, we're going to need some of that. We're going to need some of that back. We have to pay for poor people. But you'd rather see troops go and stand in food lines. That's pretty cool. Let me get back to Sean Duffy. I swear to God, while Americans we're bleeding jobs everywhere. We got people in food lines. The government is shut down. We got military in the streets. More people than ever in this country have debt. More people than ever are living paycheck to paycheck. But this administration, for the people, don't worry, they got you covered. Because look what they're spending money on. Instead of health care, instead of better schools. Instead of better infrastructure, don't worry, they got you covered.
But explain the moon, why you believe you can and the United States can beat China back to the moon. You say you want to start
We're going to the moon, motherfuckers. We're going to the moon. Fuck those kids. Fuck those elderly people. Fuck those troops. We're going to the moon.
Base on the moon?
Yeah, we do. So first off, we go back. We're going to go back at the first part of next year. 4 astronauts going out to the moon and around it and coming back.
Oh,
That's
good.
the first time in 54 years.
Oh, thank God. I didn't think they were going to do anything for the American people, but next year they're going to go circle the moon. That's good.
Years we will have done that. That's Artemis 2. Artemis 3, a little over a year and a half after that, we're going back to the moon and going to land.
Oh, twice? Fuck yeah, twice. Fuck them troops. Fuck them kids. Fuck them elderly people. We're going to the moon twice? What are we going to do when we get there?
The south pole of the moon, you have ice. Ice is water, ice is oxygen, ice is life. So if we go to the south pole of the moon, we can set up a base. We want to put in fission power.
Oh, fuck yeah, a base with fission power? Sweet. What's that going to do for us? Are we going to have more food? Are we going to have more money in our pockets? No, but at least we went to the moon again.
And we think we can have long-term stays on the south.
Oh, vacation. Oh, you're setting up a vacation spot. Yay! Yay!
Pole of the moon, and it's going to be remarkable because it's that kind of human experiment that you need that's going to give you a scientific advancement that's going to allow us to take the next step and get to Mars.
Wow.
And so, yeah, and by the way, there's a whole the minerals that we can find on the moon and the impacts they're going to have.
We're going to get some really cool walks to bring back for our families. I'm going to bring back my friends some walks. I'm going to bring back my grandma some walks. I'm going to bring back my teacher some walks. We're going to get all the best minerals from the moon. Very important.
Back on Earth are remarkable. We're still learning what that could look like, but great resources on the moon that we don't have here on Earth.
Wow, that is an
much more.
extraordinary. That is an extraordinary development as well, particularly in this fight for rare earth minerals.
So very important, says Maria Bartiromo. Wow, this is big. This is big stuff. Thanks, Sean Duffy. We're going to the moon. I think half their base believes the moon landing was fake. Don't they? They mostly believe that the moon landing was fake. This is how hard now. Like, there's two things they're doing. One, they're talking about shit nobody gives a fuck about, like the moon, and then two, they're trying to bring Antifa into the forefront as like sub-terrorist group. It's got them so flustered that Glenn Beck, who joined a cult, an obvious fake. Like, I grew up in a cult, the same cult that Glenn Beck joined. When I was about 30 years old, I read some books and I found out that the Mormon Church is a very obvious, like, fraudulent cult. They stole all these ideas from other churches and the Masons, and they created a cult. And that cult was almost immediately used to fuck other people's wives, and in some cases children. And they used God as a justification for doing all of that. They got chased out of the country and they went to Utah. And at 50 years old, Glenn Beck, who's brilliant, was like, you know what? I think I would like to join this obviously fraudulent cult called the Mormon Church. That's who we're dealing with here. Glenn Beck got famous on Fox News for he'd bring out these chalkboards and he would explain things simply. And he didn't ever really explain anything. He just wrote words on a chalkboard. And I want you to see his words on a chalkboard now. You just tell me if he does a good job here of linking Antifa and these groups, or if he's just naming groups and putting them on a chalkboard.
And then you have this, funding sources. Now, this is interesting. Again, who do you write to check to? This is split between nonprofits and foundations, also crowdfunding sources.
Oh.
Now, I already mentioned the Tides.
We're already fucked because you said crowdfunding. So you're already fucked, right? Because you're not going to be able to trace that. Individuals, crowdsourcing is now deep state sourcing.
Foundation, one of the dark.
Shut up, Drew. Guys, mute Drew for 3 minutes.
Darkest of the dark left-wing radical money funnels on the planet. You know, who knows all the trails that lead back to Tides? But just for starters, let's look at these. Tides Foundation funds an organization called Alliance for Global Justice.
Okay.
Money from here. They refunnel money to groups like Refuse Fascism. They
Okay.
also give to the...
Okay.
National Lawyers Guild, over $1 million from 2018 to 2019 alone.
Okay.
Are you going to write a check for $1 million to a leaderless group that has no organization at all and just say, yeah, you guys know what to do with it?
Hold on. I'm very confused by this. Listen to what he just says here. He just tells you who they write a check to and then says it's a leaderless group. Listen.
They refunnel money to groups like Refuse Fascism. They also give to the National Lawyers Guild.
So they give money to the National Lawyers Guild and Refuse Fascism, who are not nameless, because he just named them. That's how I figured that whole thing out. We have their funding is open source. That's why we have it. So we know who sent the money. We know who got the money. We know who runs those nonprofit organizations. And yet Glenn Beck still says this.
For $1 million from 2018 to 2019 alone. Are you going to write a check for $1 million to a leaderless group that has no organization at all and just say, yeah, you guys know what to do with it?
Huh? Excuse me, what? Someone help me. Hey guys, don't kick David Kleinelder out. Just mute him. Make him stay here, but I want him to have access. Just mute him on YouTube. He wants to be kicked out.
Who knows what to do with it? This is how the radical left-wing money trail operates. It's a design.
It operates in a way where we know exactly where it's going, but we tell you that because we know where it's going, that we don't actually know where it's going. It's the fact that we know exactly where the money's going that makes us believe that we don't know where it's going. This is real. This is a real guy who does news for the right. Billions of views. Very influential. This is a guy who just told you exactly where the money came from and where it went, and then said, we don't even know where it went.
To be opaque. It's designed to be confusing and disappear. But the connections are all there.
What?
Why haven't we done anything about it up until now?
Because you can't do anything about people giving their money to organizations because they can give it to whoever the fuck they want. That's probably why.
Okay, up next.
Well, you said the point is Antifa is an organization. Says who? Give me the evidence here. Look at this. He's written Antifa's decentralized network, and he's just named a bunch of people or a bunch of groups. He even has Rose City Antifa up there, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But like, he's just saying that all these groups are under Antifa's decentralized network, and he's not providing any proof of that.
Else but George Soros' Spooky Dudes Open Society Foundation.
No.
They also fund the Alliance for Global Justice. They also are with the Antifa support groups. The charitable funding sources are legion for just that one.
Okay, so once again, he told us the money comes from the Open Society Foundation, which is Soros' group, and then he told us where he gave the money to. So it seems like we know where all the money went.
Then you have Fidelity Investments. Where do you have your money invested? Fidelity Investments Charitable Gift Fund. They donate to the National Lawyers Guild.
Oh, no! Not the lawyer. Everybody knows that the National Lawyers Guild is Antifa.
Also, Schwab Charitable Fund. Boy, if I had my money in Schwab, or Fidelity, I don't know if I would have it. They're giving to the people who are supporting these people.
What? What? Huh? You know goddamn well, Republicans, you're not following any of this shit.
I mean, I could go on, and we haven't even gotten to the crowdfunding platforms. You have ActBlue and Patreon. You have Fundraiser.
Fucking Patreon. It's Patreon. Guys, Patreon's Antifa. Just so you know, all those right-wing Patreons that exist, that's actually going to Antifa. Same with ActBlue. We can follow all the money to ActBlue. You can literally follow all of it. You can see where ActBlue sends their money. And when you go through, there's no, like, Antifa. What do we Also, do you notice how they spell maybe Fundraiser. Maybe that's how you spell it, probably.
The Action Network. Then you have book sales.
Oh, no! Books! Fuck it, you guys know. We don't do books on the right. Books, everybody knows reading is fucking communism, okay? Books that you don't read books unless you're a communist.
Book sales.
Book sales.
Oh, yeah, book sales, like the college professor that produced the Antifa handbook.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody wrote a book called the Antifa Handbook. And then he sold his book. Like, does this guy not have editors, producers? Is there nobody else talk? Is this just his head? Watch him blank now.
Look, I'm not accusing anyone here. I'm just saying this is pretty much off the top of my head.
Yeah, we know.
I'm just showing the connections that have a very strong odor attached to them.
That might be your upper lip, bitch.
And I've followed these people long enough to know this is the way it works.
What works? What works? What are you explaining to us, sir?
One chalkboard alone is enough for the Trump administration just to start. I mean, just start. And they are. And it should be enough alone just to debunk the ridiculous notion. Just the question, who are you writing checks to?
Each other. You just told us who they were writing checks to. You told us the Open Society Foundation. You see them right there. You told us that they were writing checks to the lawyers. That's what you said. You just told us who they were writing checks to.
$1 million check. Who's cashing it? What bank? Where is this happening?
Whatever bank they go, whatever the bank they bank with.
Schwab is giving to just street kids who...
No, Schwab is giving to the lawyers. You just told us. What do you mean street kids? Schwab's giving... You just told us they're giving it to the lawyers.
What? It's ridiculous to believe that.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Antifa now has been designated as a terrorist organization. It is about time.
Oh, yeah.
And it is time to turn...
We can't figure out who the fuck they are, but we know they're a terrorist organization. Even if you took, like, all of the violence that happened during the BLM protests, even the ones that, like, that were actually the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers, if you took every bad thing that happened during the BLM protests, that still wouldn't qualify you as a terrorist organization. It's still not terrorism. So it could be maybe organized crime, but not terrorism.
Over all of the stones. I am proud to say that after the first of the year, we're turning over not just the little stones, we're turning over the big boulders.
Oh, it's the big ones,
we
guys.
will show you in an epic special. Much more on this.
So off the top of your head, you made something up. Now you're telling us you have a special that's going to prove it. This sounds an awful lot like RFK. I'm going to tell you what causes autism in September. We're like, all right, cool. And then he shows up. He's like, turns out Tylenol and lack of foreskin. Those are the two things that we know are causing autism. It's Tylenol and if you get your foreskin taken off. So there you go. By the way, I looked into that. I've looked into those studies. Things like ADHD and certain neurodivergent conditions are caused by stress in utero and then in the early stages of your life, like early developmental stages. So yeah, maybe getting like skin cut off your dick is a little traumatizing. So I get, like, if you want, I guess maybe that's the only link I could find is that it's like traumatic events in high stress environments can lead to people developing neurological disorders. And again, that's not even proven. That's like that's based on some studies that they've read and taking their best guess. But yeah, it's crazy what they tell you and you guys just go with it. It was Tylenol and it was foreskin. You're like, all right, got it. It's like, here's where all this money's going. Oh, that's where the money's going? Yeah. Can you believe we don't know where the money's going? Yeah, we definitely don't know where the money's going. Combat my argument from earlier, somebody, that like the right is just dumb. And that's why you guys do this, because you're just dumb and you follow dumb people. Xander said he's got to plead the Fantastic Fifth. I think I read that. 6 cents a million, thank you. FOD said the radical left money trail is crowdsourcing. Leanna said, just curious, do you consider the mainstream Mormon church a cult or just the branches off of it? The whole thing is a cult. The branches off of it, like if you look at the fundamentalist church, they just act like the original church. And so I can't really separate the original church and the cult mentality from the church currently. I still think it's pretty culty. Sorry if you're Mormon. I know that Mormons don't like when I say that, but it is what it is. Burned Out Medic said, but billionaires got a freebie. Thank you. This is pretty wild. Here's Tucker Carlson, who, whatever, gets a lot of views. Listen to what he's accusing the Trump administration of. It's getting old having to agree with Tucker Carlson from time to time.
You hope that. You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if it is, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever. And there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think. There is nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. They don't believe you have a soul. A human being with a soul, a free man, has a right to say what he believes, not to hurt other people, but to express his views. You hope that.
Yeah. You know how we're now just censoring speech? Like, we're calling speech terrorism now? If Tucker Carlson sees it, you guys can see it. If Tucker Carlson can figure this shit out, I know you guys can do it. Colin says, I must have autism from my circumtism. Appreciate that. Thanks, Colin. That was pretty solid. All right. Let's see. Let me skip some of this stuff. That was from yesterday. All right. I found this video. We talk about fascism a lot, but this is for the Republicans. This is kind of a longer video. I know we've got a while. Before we start this video, Jen, if you want to come in and do announcements. The reason, I guess it's actually less than 10 minutes because I got to get through the introduction. But I wanted to do this because I want to talk about fascism. I want to talk about the history of fascism in this country. I don't think most people realize that, like, we've had fascism in this country forever, and fascism has had moments like it's having now. And every time fascism has a rise, there are people who are anti-fascist who also have a rise, and those people are smeared as godless, communist, hellraisers who hate America every single time. And that's because the fascists in this country, the Nazis in this country from World War II, they hated the Soviet, they hated communism, and they hated communism because communism doesn't allow people like Lindbergh to create obscene amounts of wealth off of the backs of other people's labor. They view communism as an attack on their ability to milk everybody's labor as much as they possibly can. So from the very beginning of fascism in this country, it's always been that the enemy are the communists. So even when, like, Hitler was doing a genocide in Germany and in Poland, we still had Americans here that sat by and cheerleaded it, just like we had Americans who are sitting by and cheerleading the genocide in Gaza. Like, this isn't new. We've done it before. There's always fascists in this country. And every time we wind up with something historically awful, like a genocide, the fascists get really loud, and they call everybody who calls out the genocide communists. We've done this before. Jen, are you here? Maybe not. I'll do the announcements.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here. Just have to unmute. Like I said, it takes a second sometimes. Fun fact, guys. Moonlight specifically. No, the only funding we get is from the people who watch us. So we are crowdfunded that way. So it's not. We don't have any other outside donations. So I saw some questions on that. We don't have, like, Jay says no Soros funding or DNC. I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but Jay says no. So there's the answer for that.
Sorry, Jen.
I mean, you never let me have anything fun. Anyways, so we've got about an hour and a half left of the show. We do this each day, Monday through Friday, from 9:30 to 1 Pacific time. Like I said, we're crowdfunded, so Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all of that go towards knocking out that gift goal. So that's how we can keep the lights on and keep coming back and pissing you guys off each day. Subscribe to us wherever you're watching. We do member-only events, so if you guys are a paid subscriber anywhere, you can join us for those. We typically do those on Monday. We have a new one coming up this Monday. If you guys disagree with our TP, you can come up and talk. to him. And how you do that is the Venmo username. That is my Discord username. If you send me a message on Discord, I can bring you up and have a conversation with him in real time. And you don't have to try to scream in the comments. You can actually come up and have an actual conversation. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch, Jay's on Cameo, and we upload all of these episodes to Spotify. So yeah, like I said, we got about an hour and a half left. So if we could knock out that gift goal with quick, fast, in a hurry, that would be dope. So yeah, there's all that. What did 50 Cent do when he got hungry?
Don't know.
58.
What about Act Blue? I don't know. Does Act Blue pay creators? I don't even know if that's. I don't even know if Act Blue does pay creators. But yeah, Jen and I have a disagreement on that. I don't want to take funding from any organization. I just think that I don't want it. I want the show to be like what I think and what I find interesting. I don't want that to be dictated, or and I don't even want to feel obligated to provide cover for somebody or to cover stories that they would want me to cover. So that's why I've been opposed to taking any money. Also, it's not like people are dying to give me money, so that doesn't happen. Sue, go
and it's not like we're actually having a real fight about it. It's more of a joke than anything. So,
good to see you, Sue. I haven't seen you in a while. Jen does get paid. She's the only mod that gets paid, but yeah, Jen does get paid. All right, let me show you this video. This is the 10 tactics of fascism. And the reason I want to show you this, MAGA, and I'd like you to keep an open mind. And if you guys want to play a game amongst each other, every time they talk about these tactics of fascism, the Republicans in the chat are going to claim that that's what the left does. But you can't really be fascist and be on the left. That's just authoritarianism. You can be an authoritarian on the left, but you can't be a fascist on the left. It doesn't really work that way. But I want to play this because this is exactly when we. Let me be clear. I don't say fascist because like I want it to be a derogatory term, and I think that that's how everybody looks at it. That it's like name calling. I use fascist because it's accurate. It's accurate as far as like what these people are doing. It's crazy to think that all of these self-avowed fascists, all these people around Donald Trump who have called themselves fascists, or at least said that they agree with the fascists and they like that ideology. It's crazy to see all these people, especially Stephen Miller around Trump, and then you guys go, I can't believe you would call it fascism. It is fascism. And I just want Republicans, whether you like it or not, I want you to understand it so that we can get past this, like, don't call it fascism. I want to talk about, is fascism good or is it bad? Is it helping you? Is it making our country better or is it not? Because we definitely are doing fascism right now. The argument needs to be, should we do fascism? I say no. You might say yes. Let's talk about it. Danielle said, Carlson and other people on the right only care about free speech violations because they think the left will do the same to them if we get power. Could be true. Jerry Mandarin says, RFK changed ATF to mean autism, Tylenol, and foreskins. It's beautiful.
All
it's not my screen.
nationalism involves a mythic past. So you can say, look, we're Polish people who spoke Polish and were sheep herders, and another bunch of Polish people who were fishermen. You can talk about how things were wonderful when we were all Polish together. That's a fine mythic past. But then there's the fascist mythic past. In the past, we were great. Wherein did our greatness consist? In our military. And in the past, the dominant racial group ruled over others. And then the fascist leader says, that has been taken from you by the leftists and communists. They want to weaken our military. They want to weaken our greatness.
Sound familiar?
Propaganda is ubiquitous and everyone uses propaganda. In political propaganda, your main message is something other than the information you're conveying. Fascist propaganda is a very particular...
I know, the video is quiet. Let me see if I can find... Oh, there's some volume. There we go. Thank you.
Structure. It's based around a friend-enemy distinction. The political opponent, they are a merciless threat to your very existence and your traditions. They are the other. When they are in charge, it subverts the nation. So the structure, fascist propaganda, is based on the idea that the other are fundamentally opposed to the nation.
How many clips did I show you today of the Republicans going out saying that the No Kings protest is a I Hate America protest? Did we not just show you that? 2 for 2, right?
As Hitler says in Mein Kampf, science is only useful insofar as it strengthens the nation. Fascism is a cult of the leader. It involves the leader setting the rules about what's true and false. So any kind of expertise, reality, all of that is a challenge to the authority of the leader. If science would help him, then he can say, okay, I'll use it. Institutions.
Climate change, COVID, autism, transgender people, all of these things that science backs, it's always an anti-scientific movement. People, like human beings, struggle with change. We all do. We all struggle with change. We all want the world to, like, I think one of the hardest parts about this time, for me, this time period, is that we all kind of grew up probably thinking that these things that are happening now would never happen in the United States. That, like, as a society and as a human population, we had moved past that, and yet here we are. Everything about the MAGA movement is anti-scientific, and everything about every fascist movement is anti-scientific because it's easy. That's a good way to control people. People don't want change. So if you give them a way to not admit that something bad is happening, that it's all fake, they'll go with it. That's why people have been denying climate change and the human impact on the climate forever. You're going to see a bunch of Republicans now in the chat say that climate change is a hoax. They'll be like, oh, the climate's always changing. Yeah, we know. Well, global warming is fake. Yeah, we know. We hear you. But every single time, they're wrong. With the Germans, it was as they were starting to study human beings a little bit better. We started to understand the human body. Then it was about eugenics. Then they started taking like the socioeconomic status of German-born, blonde-haired, blue-eyed people, and they said the reason that this socioeconomic status exists for these people is because they are just superior. You hear Donald Trump talk about genetics all the time. The genetics make you superior. Science gets in the way of all cults, and fascism is a cult. That's why when you look at the opposition to basically all science in America, who is it? It's the churches. It's always the churches. They're always the ones. Like, I remember stem cell research. Some of you are probably too young for this, but those in the audience that are my age or older, you'll remember like the national conversation about stem cell research. And churches, the Catholic Church, the Mormon Church, the Christian churches, they all were vehemently opposed to stem cell research because they said, oh, that's a human body, that's tissue from a human body. We shouldn't treat human bodies as research facilities. And so they opposed stem cell research. Now fucking Joe Rogan is telling all of you to go get stem cells replacement, right? Now the right loves it because they found out that it can take care of like baldness and ailments. But it wasn't that long ago, 15, 20 years ago, that the whole country was divided, like a 50-50 divide, on whether or not we should or should not accept stem cell research. So this is always the movement of the fascists. The fascists always want to say, all this new science is bullshit. Go back to where we were safe before when you didn't have to accept new science. We'll just ban all new science and we'll go back to a place where we didn't know that. And that's appealing to a lot of people who aren't comfortable with change, who get really uncomfortable when things change. That's why the same movement that is anti-science is also like they like ethno-states. It's why they talk about things like the culture of our company or our country. That's why they fret about things like white people not being a majority in the next 20 years. That's why they talk about replacement theory. What conservatives and fascists are more than anything is afraid. They don't like change. They can't handle change. Their brain doesn't wrap around it very well, and so they fight change at every turn. And that has been historically true through in our entire world. Everything we know about science at the time it was opposed by conservatives. When we started having scientists come out and be like, hey, you know what? This Earth might not be flat. You know what? The solar system doesn't revolve around the Earth. What do? The churches attacked them. They ran them out. In many cases, murdered them in cold blood. That's what you're seeing now. You've had Republicans, conservatives openly call for the death penalty for doctors who provided gender-affirming care. Not even like gender reassignment surgeries, nothing. Gender-affirming care. And they want the death penalty. And that's nothing new. It's always been the case. It's always these religious conservative people who want to murder people because they are preaching something different than what's in that dog shit book. I just got to be honest. That book sucks from a historical perspective. Kind of a fun story, a lot of crazy shit, a lot of twists and turns, talking bushes, worldwide floods, all the animals in the world on one boat, which must have been absolute fucking chaos. People turning into pillars of salt, walking on water, turning like a few pieces of food into a lot. Good book for twists and turns. But for historical accuracy and scientific accuracy, dog shit. Really fucking bad. And the problem that you guys have when you are a Christian conservative is you believe that that book is true, but you believe that in this narrow scope where you think this is the edge, right? We're finally up against the edge between reality and the word of God. And what you don't realize is that most of the things that you accept, flying, for example, did you know that conservative Christians in this country were against flying? The advent of airplanes, did you know that? Everything that we know scientifically, at the start, when somebody brought up the idea, it was Christian or religious conservatives who fought against it every time. So what your mistake is, you thinking we're at this precipice, and if we go over it, we'll fail. And that's exactly what they said about stem cell research. And that's exactly what they said about school integration. And that's exactly what they said about abortion. And that's exactly what they said about the study and care of women's reproductive systems, right? They do this every fucking time. Anytime there's any scientific advancement, the conservative right loses their fucking minds. So what I want you to know is you're not different. You're your grandparents. You're conservatives. You are now those people, whatever age you grew up in. Let's say you grew up the same time I did, and you listened to Rage Against the Machine, or you listened to Pearl Jam, or you listened to, I'm trying to think of all the people I listened to, Third Eye Blind. This is going to get real white real fast. Rap music. Nelly was huge when I was younger. Ja Rule, Exhibit, Eminem, later parts of Dre, 50 Cent. All these groups that I would play, and my parents were like, that's crossing a line. And they're telling me, my dad's telling me stories about how, like, when he was a kid, everybody, his parents would not let him listen to Elvis. My mom still wouldn't listen to Elvis, right? Gyrating their hips. It was too bad. Lionel Richie. My mom wasn't allowed to listen to Lionel Richie. You're just the next generation of stuck in the mud grown-ups who don't want to change. We've seen enough change. The world is, I don't like this change. This new music doesn't say. Bad Bunny, I can't even understand his words. What are we doing with Bad Bunny? Why don't we have someone great in there like Merle Haggard? Give me Kid Rock or Toby Keith. Well, probably not Toby Keith. I forgot he was dead as I was saying that. R.I.P. Toby Keith. You're just your parents. You're everybody's parents in every movie where their parents are a stick in the mud. And this isn't new. It happens every fucking generation. And you are the part of the generation who said, no, I'm not learning anymore. And the left is the part of the generation that's like, I'm going to go ahead and keep learning. You're like, that's evil. You hate America if you're learning new things.
That teach multiple perspectives on history in all its complexity are always a threat to the fascist leader. The center of democracy is truth. You're not free if you've been lied to. Nobody thinks the people of North Korea are free. The people of North Korea will vote for dear leader every time because they've been lied to. It's not a free vote because they don't have access to the truth. Equality similarly requires truth. Because equality in democracy doesn't mean we all have the same amount of money. It doesn't mean we all have the same car. It means political equality, that each of our voices matters the same. And political equality means speaking truth to power. If someone really powerful is humiliated when they're caught lying, that's the core of political equality. So if you're gonna rip the heart out of democracy, you get people used to lies. Here's a fact about humans. We all pretty much suck to the same degree. One group of us is not better than another group of us. Hierarchy is central here. Tim. Because it's the big lie at the center of things. What is racism but one big lie? Racism is the lie that one group is better than another. You're told this religion is better, this race is better, this gender is better. It's really a moral claim, has more moral worth.
So now think about the people, conservatives that are here. Think about the people that you have you advocate for every time you come in here and tell me that they're better than me. You talk about Fuentes, talk about Andrew Wilson. We've had Steven Crowder recently. What do they all teach to you? This stuff, right? You're actually better than them. You are great. You are the great white hope. You're doing so many great things. And all they really want is your money. And they know that you're a dipshit. And so if they just tell you how great you are, you'll give them money.
And then once you have hierarchy set up, you can make people...
No, Islamophobia, look, I don't think criticizing Islam is a problem. I actually kind of agree with what you said there, anonymous person. I do think that there is a problem in this country sometimes on the left. I think there's a problem on the left where we treat Islam as like this protected religion. Because people are afraid to be accused of being Islamophobic. I do think that happens. If you're criticizing the religion, I have no problem with that. But if you're afraid of somebody just because of their religion, yeah, that's problematic. Same with Christians. Like if I hate you because you're a Christian, that's a problem. If I hate your stupid book and I hate you and I think your religion sucks, that's no problem. That's America. We should criticize that. And we should use that same standard when criticizing Judaism or Islam or any religion. Like criticism should be had. But I do actually kind of agree with what you said there, is that sometimes there is like this purity culture on the left where there are things that we maybe should criticize, but we're afraid of being labeled something, so we don't. I don't think that is my experience with the people on the left. The people that I engage with largely are critical of all religion, but I do think that there are people like that. So there you go, a little olive branch for you.
People very nervous and frightened about losing their position on that hierarchy. Hierarchy goes right into victimhood, because once you convince people that they are justifiably higher on the hierarchy, then you can tell them that they're victims of equality. German Christians are victims.
This is the good part. This is the good part. Make people feel like victims because of equality. DEI is ruining everything for you. Feminism is ruining everything for you. Giving immigrants the same status that you have, that is an attack on you. Make people feel like victims and they will follow you.
Jews, white Americans are victims of black American equality. Men are victims of feminism. Once you convince people that they should be better, that they have earned a position on the hierarchy over others, then you can tell them that equality is actually victimhood. Loyalty to the dominant group means law-abidingness. And the minority group is by its nature not law-abiding.
Blue cities, law, like we can't even have the discussion with you. You guys, your whole party goes out and talks about lawless blue cities and blue states, and we never talk about red state crime. We never talk about any of that stuff. Why is that? Too close to home, right? Doesn't make you a victim. Just makes it a problem that we all need to address. You see it? You guys, look, find the fascists in the chats. DEI and feminism has destroyed our country. You are so allergic to the truth. It's amazing. Fascist, you sound like your dad when he's like, you know what's ruining this country? The fucking Simpsons. They said shut up on TV and now they're ruining the country. It's the morality. Look at the chat. DEI is a total joke. See? Don't come in here and just like prove the point. You guys are walking right into it repeatedly. They're telling you like this is why we call you fascists. Because you are fascist. This video is about fascists and what fascists do. So if the video is like, here's what fascists do, and then you go, hey, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do it right now. That's why we call you fascists.
Law and order in fascist politics means the members of the minority group who accept their subservient role, they're law-abiding, and the members of the dominant group, by their very nature.
I like that he said subservient. That's a nicer way to say it, but like the way I choose to say it about fascists is you guys are all a bunch of fucking cucks. He calls you subservient, which is a nicer way. We just do whatever Daddy Trump says, and we follow Daddy Trump no matter what, and whatever Daddy Trump says is great. We even say weird fucking shit like Daddy Trump. You don't have any of your own thoughts. You're just followers, and you're angry, and you don't know why you're angry. He calls you subservient. I call you cucks.
Are law-abiding. By definition, the leader can't violate law and order. So law and order doesn't mean justice.
Oh, weird. Didn't our Supreme Court that was all appointed by a bunch of fascists, they made a list of like, here's some fascist judges. Didn't our Supreme Court just rule that if you're the leader, you can't break the law? Well, it's not fascism. Didn't our supreme leader, isn't he a convicted felon? Yeah. Who else was a convicted felon? Mussolini? Oh, cool. Who else? Hitler? Ah, cool. Nobody cares? Nah, nobody cares because it's fascism, right? So, like, he is above all. He doesn't commit crimes. In fact, the people who committed crimes, you guys are now saying the actual crimes were the people that prosecuted dear leader. The people who said that he committed crimes that he was accused of and then convicted of, those are the actual criminals.
Order doesn't mean equality. Law and order structures who's legitimate and who's not. Everywhere around the world, no matter what the situation is.
Here's where it gets good. The sexual anxiety. Boys, with the Fuente, where's my groypers at? Take your hands off your dicks for a second and watch this. I know you're currently watching some sort of furry porn on an incognito tab, but if you could peel your eyes away from that and take your hands off your dicks, this is important.
Different socioeconomic conditions, the fascist leader comes and tells you your women and children are under threat. You need a strong man to protect your families.
Daddy's here. You guys are such bitches that you need me to protect your families. Okay. I don't even have a family, but now that there's a strong man, maybe I'll get a family.
Make conservatives hysterically afraid of transgender rights or homosexuality,
I want to go back there and just make you guys look at that for a second.
Afraid of transgender rights or homosexuality.
I just want to stop it right there so that the Republicans have to watch this for a while. I'm just going to let it sit for, let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Groypers, raise your hand if you finished during that 10 seconds. Raise your hand.
Other ways of living. These are not people trying to live their own lives. They're trying to destroy your life.
That's right.
And
they're here for you. Okay? They're going to take you out. Unless you vote for Donald Trump, they're going to be kissing your mouth. You want to be mouth kissed? I don't think so. So if you don't vote for Donald Trump, they're coming for you. Do you not see this? Like every fucking time. You're just fascist, which is a synonym for dumb.
After your children. What the fascist politician does is they take conservatives who aren't fascist at all and they say, look, I know you might not like my ways. You might think I'm
locker room talk. He says what's on his mind. Yeah, he's not a great role model, but he's fighting for us. He's fighting for us, guys. Hitler's fighting for us. Mussolini's fighting for us. I know I don't know their ideas are out there, but I gotta support them because if I don't support them, I'm gonna be gay.
A womanizer. You might think I'm violent in my rhetoric, but you need someone like me now. You need someone like me because
that's what America needs. They said, I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like some of the things that he says, but America needs a strong man like this who stands up for what the American people need and stands up against the immorality of the far left, the communist sex maniacs on the left. Yeah, we've seen this before.
Homosexuality, it isn't just trying for equality. It's coming after your family.
Guys, sorry, real quick. I didn't mean to stop. I see a lot of people asking me the name of this video. It's in our Discord. Every video I ever show on stream is in the Discord. So if you want the links to these, because I don't want to have to give them out through the whole stream, join the Discord. It's free. If you don't have an invite to the Discord, message just in the chat right now, say mods, I need an invite to the Discord. They'll get you an invite. But I drop every link from every show in the Discord. Casey's doing it today. We have a great mod team. It's in there every day, so you can get this video.
Fascist movements typically, though not invariably, rest on an urban-rural divide. The cities are where there's decadence, where the elites congregate, where there's immigrants.
They called them the metropolitan Jews in Germany. You guys call it the radical left, communist Marxist cities. It's always like a fight against like actual populism.
There's criminality, there's Sodom and Gomorrah. In the city, there's not real work. The pure, hardworking, real members of the nation live in the rural areas where they work hard with their hands.
Fuck, sorry, mods. Sorry, mods. You can see the mod. There's a icon next to their name. It maybe DM a mod. I didn't realize there were going to be so many people needing links, but please try and DM them. So sorry, mods. I owe you guys.
When our politicians talk about inner city voters or urban voters, we all know what they mean. Arbeit macht frei, work shall make you free. This was written on the gates of Auschwitz. The idea is that the minority group, they're lazy and they need to be made to work. Free.
Oh, we're just cutting Medicaid because there's all these able-bodied people and they need to work. All you need to do if you come from a poor community, you just need to work. The reason you live in a poor community is you don't work. We're going to demonize poor people. This is the last tactic to fascism here.
Labor. The minority group and the leftists, they're lazy by their nature, and it gives them a work ethic. Labor unions are run by communists who are trying to make things easier. Hard work is a virtue.
Yeah, but you guys are right this time. All these opinions that you definitely came up with on your own and aren't just from the fascist playbook, even though they did all of these exact same things and blamed the exact same people for in Germany and in Italy, and then we had the Holocaust. Even though all of those things are identical, you're totally not like them. You're very different from those fascists. Those fascists were fascists, but you're not a fascist. You just hold literally all of the same exact beliefs, and the nature by which you go about trying to accomplish installing your belief system is exactly the same. Oh, and by the way, the architects of this plan, Project 2025, and Stephen Miller, they're also all fascists. But no, you're totally not fascist, guys. These are your own ideas that you've come up with on your own. They haven't been force-fed through history by power-hungry psychopaths who use your disdain for change against you so that you'll support a psychopath. That's why when Donald Trump earlier was out there like soliciting bribes while the country is shut down, while he's made more money during this presidency than his entire life combined. That's why you guys go, oh, not looking at that, not looking at that. That's why you guys won't address any of this shit. And that's why we know that you won't address this shit, is because we've seen it before. It's a fucking rerun, guys. You ever like send somebody a clip and you're like, check this out, and you think it's from today, and they're like, yeah, that's like 4 years old. That's you guys. You're just showing us, like, you're like, check out our new ideology. You're like, yeah, that's the Nazis, dude. You stole it from the Nazis. Like, no, this is totally new. Nobody's ever come up with this before, and nobody ever takes advantage of people this way and gets them to support a fascist takeover. This is all brand new. It's exactly the fucking same. Exactly the fucking same. And you have to think to yourself right now, like, am I stupid or am I just a fascist? Spoiler, they're the same thing. It's the same. It's lazy. It's intellectually dishonest. It's just like frightened little bitch shit. I'm afraid of change, so I'm going to be a fascist. I don't know how to stop the change that's coming, so I'm going to put all my faith in this one man. I'm going to put up cutouts. I'm going to put signs in my yard. I'm going to go on live streams, and I'm just going to type in his name because I'm fucking weird. But this is totally not fascism. I just need that big, strong man to make it so things stop changing so that I can feel more comfortable again. That's you. That's you. Like, that's all of you. We've all seen it.
Liberal democracy, we don't value people by how hard they work. What would happen to disabled people who can't work? They would then have no value. It's why the Nazis had the T4 program to murder the disabled, because the disabled...
Remember just a couple weeks ago when on Fox News they said that you should take people who have mental health problems and homeless people, and you should either just put them in a concentration camp or kill them. Remember that? And then like that guy didn't get fired at all, and none of you gave a single solitary fuck that he advocated for just like killing homeless people with a lethal injection. And then like a week later, a bunch of people got murdered. Remember that? And none of you cared about that? The reason that none of you cared about that is because you're all fucking fascists. That's why. You don't care when poor people, disabled people, othered people are marginalized and treated horrifically because it doesn't affect you. And again, fascism and bitch shit are the same. You are just whiny little bitches who think that everybody else is a problem, and you sit along and you watch atrocities happen because you're too fucking cowardly to do anything about it, but you sit there and pretend that it's patriotism. You build it, you and your friends get together and you're like, actually, guys, we are the brave ones for going after marginalized people. The true bravery is those who have the bravery to speak out against marginalized people. That's true bravery. We're so brave by being openly racist. We're so brave by advocating for eugenics. That's true bravery. Sitting back and advocating for harm to befall on other people, but not us. That's real bravery. No, you're bitches.
Were lebensunwertiges Leben.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. Jeffrey's figuring out the commies got rid of mentally and physically unfit people too. Let me tell you something about why you guys are fucking stupid. You know why? Because who got rid of the mentally and physically unfit people? Jeffrey? Who was that? What country was that? I'm going to give you guys an example of how fucking stupid the right is. What country was that, Jeffrey? Go ahead. Tell me what country it was that you're referencing right now. The commies. There's two. You can think of two of them. Go ahead. Where's old Jeffrey? We may have to speed it up. You're thinking of the USSR, the Soviets, and you're thinking of China, right? How come you don't say Soviets? Why don't you say China? Why do you say communism? Is there something in communism? Like if you read the Communist Manifesto, is there something in there about wiping out marginalized people or disabled people? Is there anything about that in the Communist Manifesto? No, there's not. So why did you say communism? Because you live in America. And in America, we have a bunch of dipshits like you. And we have something called the Red Scare. And what we did is we softened the Nazis. We softened fascism because it was tied to capitalism. That's why in America, it was tied to capitalism. More importantly, tied to the rich people. In Germany, it wasn't necessarily tied to capitalism, but it was tied to the rich, right? Fascism is something for the rich. Communism is not. So when you look at what happened in the Soviet Union, that wasn't because of communism. It was because of the Soviets. It was because of authoritarianism. Fascism is authoritarianism. It has nothing to do with the ideology. That's why we can have capitalists and you can have the Nazis in Germany supported by who are democratic socialists who are supported by the capitalists in America. Because it's always about social status and money. It's about being cucks to rich people. That's why you guys always say communism when you refer to the Soviet Union. There's other communist parties. Fuck, there was a communist party here in the United States at the same time. And they weren't advocating for that. Who was advocating for that? Who was advocating for eugenics in this country? There was a time we had a communist party and a Nazi party. And which party was advocating for eugenics? It was the Nazi party. The thing is you don't understand what you're looking at. When you look at the Soviets, what you're looking at is an authoritarian, a left-wing authoritarian, but it's an authoritarian nonetheless. And when you look at Hitler, you see an authoritarian, but it's from the right. That's why Hitler was a fascist. He's just copying Mussolini, they were the fascisti. But in America, I don't know if you guys know this, but after that war, after World War II, we still had a lot of Nazis here. Nothing happened to them because you're allowed to be a Nazi. You're allowed to have that ideology here. And the Nazis were also the rich people. And so those rich people who owned newspapers, radio programs, and government officials, they started something where you couldn't talk about communism. We came out of World War II where we fought side by side with the communists to end a genocide in Germany, and the Nazis had all the money in America, and they somehow rewrote the narrative that the real problem, the real thing that we needed to fight against was communism. Communism was actually who we should fight against, not against Nazism, not against the Nazis who just did a genocide. Why? Because the rich people in this country were Nazis, and they wanted to do that. So they created a boogeyman, and that boogeyman was communism. Same boogeyman that Hitler pointed at. Oh, it's the communists. There's always a play. It's why you said communist and you didn't say Soviet. Because if you say communist, like there's lots of communist parties all over the world that aren't genocidal. There's lots of capitalists that aren't genocidal. But you don't know what you're looking at. You're just repeating shit you've been told. There's been an all-out war on communism in this country. You couldn't write it in books. You couldn't talk about it in newspapers. And then suddenly we started being able to talk about it again. And communism and socialism started getting more popular in this country because we saw the disparity of wealth. And what happened? You guys wanted to silence it. Who's attacking communism now? Who's saying you can't say communism now? How about Jeff Bezos? We bought the Washington Post. He said we can only do pro-capitalism stuff here. Washington Post won't do pro-communism stuff anymore. The problem with America is we are severely undereducated when it comes to these things, and that's on purpose. That's what the Red Scare was. We had McCarthyism in this country. You guys have always been the people who don't support freedom of expression, freedom of thought, freedom of speech. You literally took an ideology, which is communism, which is not anti-American. You can have whatever ideology you want, and you outlawed it. You outlawed a thought, and you guys still want it outlawed. Because you don't believe in free speech. You don't believe in the free expression of ideas, because in the free expression of ideas, in the marketplace of ideas, what you have, this crony capitalism shit, nobody would want it because it's dog shit. I just wanted to point that out real quick, that you guys always say communist. What you mean is Soviets, you just don't know. You have no idea that that's what you mean because you have been conditioned and taught that communism was the problem. And you're just wrong about that. Like, historically, you're wrong about that. People that called themselves communists did this. But it had nothing to do with the ideas of communism. And I'm not a communist. I don't want communism. I don't trust people enough. I think communism makes it, and I think that that's what you can see with the Soviet Union. The same way that you guys believe in Donald Trump way too fucking much, the same way that the Germans believed in Hitler too fucking much, and that they just ignored reality, that's what happened in the Soviet Union too. There was some fuckery there. There was quite a bit of fuckery and murder that took place and whipping people into subservience, which now we're seeing here. What do you see our fascist president doing? He's going after the media. He's trying to control them. He's suing them. He's trying to bankrupt them. He's trying to tell the media what they can and can't say. Our Department of Defense is saying, hey, you guys can't cover us honestly anymore. You can only write what we want you to write. That's straight state-sponsored propaganda, military state-sponsored propaganda. We have federal troops in the streets that are allowed to wear masks and not identify themselves. And when we see a crime being committed, we can't even track it. How do we even know? We don't know where these people are going. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. There's been report after report after report of abuse, people being tased to death, literally to death, people being beaten, and no repercussions. Because you guys have all decided to go along with fascism, where the government gets to control what you say, what you do, where you go, what you believe, all because you are too fucking lazy to open your mind and look at reality and evolve with the rest of the world. You're terrified of evolution. You're terrified of change. And you're at a stage in your life where you're like, I'm too afraid that things will change, so now I'm just going to advocate for fascism. So now that things can't change, otherwise you get in trouble. That's all of you. It's just all lazy thinking.
Life unworthy of life. Because to be valued was to be...
Fuck you, Sonny.
Capable of hard work.
I can't be a fascist, Amp. How many more times are you going to watch this? I'm on the left. I can't be. I could be an authoritarian. I could be, but I wouldn't be a fascist. You guys got to figure out what the fuck words mean. That's why I say that you're lazy. You guys you've said that you blamed communism for killing people, and now you're calling me a fascist. You don't use words right, and you're too lazy to figure out what any of this shit means.
Each of these individual elements is not in and of itself fascist, but you have to worry when they're all grouped together. When honest conservatives are lured into fascism by people who tell them, look, it's an existential fight. I know you don't accept everything we do, you don't accept every doctrine, but your family is under threat. Your family is at risk.
Yeah, guys.
So without us, you're in peril. Those moments are the times.
What did Trump say? Something like, I'm your savior. What did he say? Like, I'm your protector. You have to have me. Every time he gets up on stage, he's like, none of this could happen without me. I did this. All his sycophants are like, none of this could possibly happen without you, dear leader. As if Donald Trump is so special. This is what they do. They get you to buy into this idea that only Donald Trump can fix this, and then you don't care about anything else that he does. Like, do you not care that history is going to remember you as fucking idiots? Just like they view every other fascist, a bunch of people who blamed all their problems on somebody else because they're too stupid to fucking evolve. They're just like, my brain shut off when I turned 30. I'm not evolving anymore. And what's scary is like watching you guys go at the youth now and be like, hey, youth, you should close your minds now. Don't learn anything else. Just know that if you ever have problems, it's probably an immigrant or a woman or a Jew. Those are causing all your problems. Or a black person. But don't learn anything new, okay? Don't go to college. Just join Turning Point USA. We were going to call it the Hitler Youth, but that name was already taken, so we're going to call it Turning Point USA.
When we need to worry about fascism.
All right. For anybody who's looking, this is called The 10 Tactics of Fascism by Big Think over on YouTube. You can see it right there. And if you need that link, make sure you join the Discord. Where are we at time? 12:15. All right. Did I miss any comments? I don't know what that means. That's a crazy thing you just said there, paragraph. I didn't want to read that out loud because I wasn't sure if it was a joke. That was a big share you just did there. All right. Listen, thank you for the donation. Guys, we're about, let's see, where are we at? Let me get this updated. Yeah. That's about right. All right. We got about an hour, maybe hour and 20 minutes left. Well, about an hour left. Hour and 15 minutes left. If you could help us knock out that goal by the end, that would be absolutely terrific. You can see the remaining balance up in the top left corner, and the way to take care of that is the pay apps, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and then, of course, Super Chats. I'll read anything that you send our way. I know that people are tightening their budgets, so I get it, but if you can help, that would be great. And if you can't, please stay around. We want you here always. Now I want to show you the victims. This was Trump during that round table, and this is just like that fascism thing. They stood around and they talked about who the worst people were. They talked about Antifa and how Antifa is this massive problem for them. By the way, they just follow around left-wing groups and go try and pick fights with them, and they're like, "Can you believe that people punched us in the face?" Yeah, like they shouldn't, but yeah, I can believe it. So they sit around a round table, and Donald Trump, who is just brilliant, decides to ask, I don't know who this guy, I can't remember his name, who are the bad news channels? Riveting stuff.
What network would you say is the worst, if I could ask?
Oh, man, yeah, that's a real tight spot.
Honestly, it's a simple question.
Well, there's a lot of people in this pool, and I would say I'm not talking about Fox. I'm not talking about...
Fox News is the only major news organization who got caught knowingly lying to their audience, talking about it behind the scenes, going, hey, we're lying about this. Yeah, but if we don't keep lying, then they'll go watch OAN or Newsmax, plus our stock price will dip. Okay, let's keep lying. They're the only news organization that has been caught, and goes to, when they go to court, they're like, we're not news. Okay, we're entertainment. You can't take what we say as facts. We don't do facts, we do entertainment over here. So they've been caught lying. They still call themselves news. When they go to court, they're like, we're not news. You can't hold us to that standard. And yet, it's not Fox. Fox isn't the problem.
Well, there's a lot of people in this pool, and I would say I'm not talking about Fox. I'm not talking about Newsmax or any outlet that resembles them. So I'll let you guys put the pieces together on who I'm exactly talking about.
Who would you say? Which network?
MSNBC for sure.
Oh, they're terrible. I agree. They're
CNN,
terrible.
probably close. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is called confirmation bias. But this is what dumb people do. They just sit around and talk about how everybody else is a problem.
I'd rate it that way. Yeah. NBC, it's Brian Roberts.
Yeah.
That he allows that to happen is a disgrace.
Absolutely.
And CNN is second.
Yeah.
I would say CNN is not quite as bad as MS.
MSNBC is not
What
really a
about
news
others?
site anymore.
Oh, MSNBC is sick.
Yeah.
They're sick.
They're just publicly blowing Trump. Trump goes,
Who are the bad guys? The bad guys, sir, are the people that say the bad things about you. When they say things about you, that makes them the bad guys.
that's right, they are the bad guys. That's a real thing our president did. Brought in a bunch of nobodies and sat around talking about how the bad guys are the news. Just, I don't know, like the First Amendment, the thing that was so important that it was the first thing we changed about our Constitution was making sure that we had a free press. And now we're just sitting there with the fascists like, the free press is a bad thing. When they say what they want to say, that's a bad thing. We shouldn't have no free press. Then they shot an ad. After that circle jerk, they shot the world's worst ad I've ever seen in my life. I think everybody should see this. I hope they play this on TV all day, every day. This is the worst ad I've ever seen in my life.
Antifa beats journalists. Antifa attacks our police stations. They attack our courthouses. They dox our law enforcement officers. No more. They are a terrorist group, and we
Someone get this loser some acting classes, please, soon.
are coming after them.
We are here at the White House today to unmask Antifa, to follow the money all the way to the top. If you want to get to the bottom of who is fomenting this chaos and violence in our country, you must follow the money.
I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years.
She worked for Fox News. She worked for Fox for 10 years. She worked for Fox for 10 years. And she's out here. I actually switched. No, you did. You worked for Fox, you psycho. And you lost your job. You didn't quit. She says this thing like, I quit to become an independent journalist. They canceled your show. You had a show that they greenlit, and then once they saw what you were doing, they're like, "This sucks. We're not gonna air this." And you quit to go become an independent journalist. That's what actually happened.
Before I quit mainstream media, in part due to its refusal to acknowledge the dangers of Antifa and radical left-wing violence.
But mostly because they said my show sucked and they didn't want to pay for my show. That's mostly what happened. But yeah, it was probably about Antifa.
Part of the problem that we have is that a lot of people refuse to believe that Antifa is real, it is just a made-up thing, but I have seen them. They are real, they are dangerous, and they are violent.
They are an organized, systemic.
Are they, though? Are they? Like, you saw people. I'm still waiting for evidence that Antifa is this organized organization. Somebody, are we going to get evidence of this at some point, or are they just going to always tell us it's real? Trust me.
International criminal enterprise. And what the FBI is going to do is trace the money, follow the funds, and find every single person that was involved in funding the riots and the violent acts of criminality that they're perpetrating on our street.
I've watched Antifa brutally beat, harass, and threaten Americans in the street, but all of that ends with the Trump administration.
That's right, guys. This is all over now because Jordan's here.
I was brutally attacked and almost killed by Antifa in the streets of Seattle.
You were punched one time, you bitch. After you stole somebody's property and pushed a woman. I'm such a victim. I was attacked in the streets. Yeah, because you pushed a woman, dude. You pushed a woman. Yeah, maybe you should be attacked. You pushed a woman. Big, brave man.
All of my colleagues have been attacked.
For pushing women, mostly.
I can't think of a single one who hasn't. Violence against journalists and police officers in our streets can't stand.
Just days ago, I was in the Portland jailhouse, and now I'm in the White House.
Because you stole that flag. You went in, and you pushed people, and you stole their property, and you have their stolen property as a fucking prop. That's why. And yeah, they dropped the charges because nobody's going to prosecute you for dumb little things like this. I was a real victim. I went into these people and I stole their stuff and they got mad at me. But now I'm here to tell you that Antifa is a big scary. I have an idea. If you don't want to be punched in the face, don't go get in people's face and talk shit to them. Sure, it might be a crime if they punch you. Maybe don't do that, though. What good are you doing? Well, but now I'm here at the White House as a professional victim, and by the way, nobody knows any of these people's names. Nobody knows. We are going to take down the Antifa with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel.
This administration is built different. and Antifa's days are numbered.
And I want to thank. By built different, you mean it's just stupid. Now her makeup's off. What was her name? It's Betancourt or some shit like that. Let me just show you how she showed up to film. And then they're like, listen, you can't do that. What is her name? It's Betancourt, I think. Is it like Davis or is her name like Davis or something? What's her name? Anybody got her name? Is her name Davis? Oh, I was close. Katie Davis Court. I nailed it. Where's Betancourt? Isn't that a town in Iowa? All right, let me show you the picture that she posted on that day when she showed up. Gosh, she has. You got to really scroll. This person posts non-goddamn stop. Holy Christ. She has a lot of the naked Portland people there. This is how she showed up for the day. That's what she looks like now. That's how she showed up at the White House. Look at me. I'm here to talk about how beat up I am. They're like, you're going to have to take off that makeup. All right, that makeup's doing a lot of work. Just want to say it.
Thank President Donald Trump for designating Antifa a terrorist organization, and I'm looking forward to the FBI and the DOJ hunting down these people like the terrorists that they are.
All I got to say.
Why did that sound like she was at a pageant? I miss Tennessee, and I hate Antifa, and I'm going to take them out like the terrorists that they are. Wink. Did that not sound like she was at a pageant?
A bad day to be Antifa.
And Antifa's days of using violence and intimidation against their political opposition are over.
And I've continued to report on them over the years, despite the threats of violence and actual violence that's happened, because I owe a thank you to this country, the United States, for settling my parents who were victims of communism in Vietnam.
1 month ago.
You can't see. He doesn't know either. Wasn't there some lie about his parents? That's Andy. No, there was something about his parents. Like maybe they weren't. I'm trying to remember why. Let's see. Noah was born and raised in Portland. His parents fled Vietnam in 1978 as Vietnamese boat people, who were people that fled Vietnam after the Vietnam War. His mother came from an educated middle-class family that ran a jewelry business. His father was a police officer in Vietnam. In one interview, he said his parents were forced into labor and re-education camps by the communist government. In another, he said his mother's family were thrown into a labor camp when he was 16, while his father's job in the police was a good job during the war, but one that could easily get you shot afterwards. His parents first met amid a 6-month stay at the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees camp in Indonesia. I don't know if those stories are true. That's what he says. So,
Charlie Kirk was murdered by a.
My name's Jack Posobiec, and I don't go 1 second without mentioning Charlie Kirk because I have adopted his victimhood, and I'm hoping that if I say his name enough, you will give a fuck about me. I'm Jack Posobiec.
Violent leftist. We all saw it, and we all saw thousands of leftists celebrate it. Antifa symbols were found on the bullet casings of the gun used to shoot and kill my friend.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Oh, those were shit posts. Those were shit posts. But notice how he didn't even say Antifa. He just said the left. Because what he let slip there is that they're just going to call all of us Antifa.
We won't take it anymore. President Trump is not going to stand for it. And I'm so grateful that we have a leader in the White House that understands how we need to fight these sophisticated networks and how we need to take these terrorists out.
You can't do sophisticated anything, Christy. No. Can you imagine if this was real, if Antifa was actually a real problem, and they're like, who are we going to put on it? Christy Nome and Pam Bondi? Great. That's fucking great. We're going to have this solved in no time. Who else? Oh, podcaster Kash Patel. He's in there too. Got it. Yeah. We're definitely going to solve this problem with Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Christy Nome. Christy Nome's just going to shoot everybody's dog. Well, they had it coming. I want to talk to you guys real quick about the history of Antifa in this country. The history of Antifa in this country is pretty fucking cool. One, it's never been organized. You have and I'll get to it in a second, you have organizations who have used the word Antifa in the name of their organization, but Antifa's got a pretty good track record here. The earliest accounts we have in America of Antifa, it was in the 30s. And that was because of the rise of fascism in Europe with both Italy and Germany. And then you started to see the rise of fascism here in America as well. The anti-fascists, you're not going to believe it, they were the labor unions. They were the immigrant communities. They were the people who were marginalized, the people who didn't want to see a dictator. In 1938, there was a march, 10,000 people in Boyle Heights, Los Angeles. At the time, the largest anti-Nazi protest in the city's history. That was in response to Kristallnacht. As Kristallnacht happened overseas, American Nazis celebrated it, and American anti-fascists said, we didn't like that thing where the Germans went around their city and murdered Jewish people simply for being Jewish. We are against that. That was the first existence of Antifa here. And by the way, the conservatives were like, they're communists and they're labor unions. It's these dirty communists here that were just out there protesting Kristallnacht. That's when it first happened. And the very first response from the conservatives and from the Nazis was, those guys are communists. Yep. Some of them were in the Communist Party. A lot of them were labor unions, and a lot of them were immigrants. A lot of people that had immigrated from that area and saw the rise of fascism and left because they didn't want to be there. And then they came here and they saw Charles Lindbergh and all these rich white fascists like, you guys are really the problem. And so they went to the streets and they marched. In the Spanish Civil War, on the Republican side, as part of the Abraham Lincoln Brigade, they're often considered the premature anti-fascists for fighting fascism before even World War II happened. It wasn't called fascism then because we didn't have the fascisti, but it was the same idea. After World War II, anti-fascist sentiment continued in the U.S., but anti-fascist activities were sometimes targeted during the Red Scare because, once again, those fascists that didn't want us to go fight against the fascists in Germany, after that, we had the World War II and we had the Holocaust and you had the Nuremberg trials and the whole world was like, holy fucking shit, we shouldn't do fascism. We shouldn't do fascism. That doesn't work out. They just did a Holocaust. After all of that, the American Nazis in this country said, you know what the real problem is? It was the communists. It was definitely the communists. So anybody that was advocating against the American Nazis in this country who refused to, like, after seeing the Holocaust, they're like, actually, no, we're still the good guys. Anti-fascists went out and protested against them. And what happened? We had the Red Scare. We had the rich, didn't call themselves Nazis anymore, but rich fascist conservatives say, you know what we need to do? We need to scare everybody away from communism. In the 80s, you saw the emergence of the emergence of the ARA, the Anti-Racist Action. It was a decentralized movement opposing the far right and neo-Nazi groups, specifically, and some of you are old enough for this, the skinheads. There was like this big rise with the skinheads in the 1980s, and they had their own their punk rock shows and concerts. And the slogan for the anti-racist action was, where we go, where they go. And they just basically followed these skinheads around, and they mocked them, and they called them fascists, and the skinheads got really upset about it. And the conservatives were like, oh, those are the good whites. Why are these communists yelling at these good whites? American History X, thank you, if you guys have seen that. You guys seen did any of you watch American History X and go, I think the bad guys are the ones that are protesting the Nazis? Well, that was Antifa. All the good guys in American History X, that was Antifa. There were other groups like the Baldies in Minneapolis and the Northwest Coalition Against Malicious Harassment that were formed in response to what? The rise of the Aryan Nation in the Pacific Northwest. And they ran the Aryan Nation out of the Pacific Northwest. Like, not completely. You know where they went? Conservative safe haven, Idaho, Montana. Because they knew they could go and they could live in places with other good whites, and those good whites wouldn't bother them. I lived in Bonners Ferry, Idaho. It's in very, very, like the northern panhandle of Bonners Ferry, Idaho. There's basically three groups there. You have the Mennonites, the Mormons, and the KKK. And they all get along with each other. Why? Because they all seem to think that they all don't want minorities in their town. So they get along pretty well. But that's where they went. It was Antifa that ran them out. And where did they find safe harbor? Within the conservative communities, the Christian conservative communities. And they don't really care if you're racist. As long as you don't bother them about Jesus, you're safe there. Did you know that? Antifa's got a hell of a track record in this country. Then in 2007, Rose City Antifa was founded. So that's there in Portland. And the reason that they were founded is to oppose a neo-Nazi musical festival that was organized by the White Aryan Resistance. The founders were largely drawn from earlier anti-racist action network, which began in the 80s, again, to chase off the white supremacists. And they just showed up because the neo-Nazis wanted to have a musical festival, and they thought, well, wherever the Nazis go, we're going to go and we're going to shout at them. And then what did the conservatives do? They called them communists. History doesn't have to repeat itself, but it tends to repeat itself because there's too many people who never learn the lessons from history. And the lesson from history is Antifa good, fascists bad. So when you find yourself saying in 2025, Antifa's a problem, just recognize that anytime Antifa has been mentioned, and anytime Antifa has had a movement, it has always been in opposition to white supremacy. Then you're like, we're not white supremacists. The Republicans aren't white supremacists. We're just trying to take down the people who are standing against white supremacy. Cool, right? Every one of those instances, which side would you have been on? I think that if you're a conservative, we know which side you would have been on. Let's see. How much? About 30 minutes. Let me read some comments here. Keep going. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. Jen said these people are absolutely disgusting. I think that was for the ad. KR said it's real like atheist churches. Trust me, bro. We should start an atheist church. You guys want to start one? I don't actually want to do that. Then we'd have to go to church. I changed my mind. I'm already out. Just the thought of going to church on a specific day makes me sick. Wasn't me said my one state solution, put Palestinians in charge. I love that. I did miss that from earlier. Sorry about that. Wasn't me. I saw you asking and I was looking for it. I didn't realize it had come through here. Dondrell, thank you for the Dollar Train. Same with Ortiz, said go Chiefs. Walter, thanks for joining the Dollar Train. Jamie as well. And Maui Wise, thank you very much for your donation. I'll update that and we'll play. What haven't we played for a while? Let's talk. Just on my Stream Deck. I don't really know why. So I must have been planning on using it for something. I have no idea what that's on there. I don't know. I thought it says Ghost Bust. I must have used it for Ghost Bust Clay Higgins. Because I thought that was going to be a quote from Clay Higgins. Instead, it was just the theme to Ghostbusters. So you're welcome. Danielle said, I think I read that one. Get to government shutdown, weaponization. Let's get to the government shutdown. Mike Johnson's been all over TV. This was from his interview today. I think actually yesterday. And he's just asked, he's going to be asked the question that we all want to know. You guys haven't done a goddamn thing for a month. And it seems like there's work to do. And it seems like there's work you can do while the government's shut down and you're not doing it. You've sent everybody home. Do you guys mind doing some work?
It will have been a month since the House has been out. Why are you keeping the House out if you have a lot of other work to do? Are you saying that you can't work on appropriations and other things while the government is shut down? And what do you say to Republicans in your own conference who are critical of this strategy of keeping the House out?
I've heard a criticism from I think 3 members on our conference call, and since our conference calls leak and they're always spun. That's the fact. You can poll individual House Republicans, maybe you should, And 98.7% of them will tell you that this is the right thing. Why? It's what you just said is the opposite of what I've said. We are working on appropriations. That work has been done in earnest.
Where is it? Where is it?
The next package of bills is being prepared. Appropriators are talking not just Republicans and Democrats, but across the aisle on that. And we can move.
You guys hear any details from Mike Johnson ever? Does it get tiring for Republicans to never have like an answer from this guy?
All that forward. Right now, the House Republicans, I don't know what the Democrats are doing, but the House Republicans have been very busy. They're doing some of their best work in the district, helping their constituents navigate this crisis that's been created by Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. I just
want to point out that if you understand anything about how our government functions, you know that's a fucking lie. What could they possibly do in those communities to navigate this? They work for the federal government, not the state government. The state government can help navigate this, but there's absolutely nothing they can do to help them navigate this. They're out campaigning. This is if you understand how our government works at all, you know this is a fucking lie. They're campaigning, and it's not going well, by the way. They're getting yelled at a lot. But there's not a goddamn thing they can do going back home to fix anything. All they can do is they can get their state like government money, and they've mostly just cut funding. So no, they're not doing this. They're not helping navigate. They're not solving problems. They're either being yelled at or they're doing podcasts or they're campaigning.
Schumer shutdown causes real pain for real people, veterans, the elderly, people who rely upon these services, our rural hospitals that have been struggling. Our members are out helping them to access the rural hospital fund that we created and that the president signed into law on July 4th that no Democrats assisted on. Chuck Schumer.
Let's tell the truth about that. We put this in the bill, this funding. Why'd you put it in the bill? Was it in the original bill? Republicans, do you know this? This funding that they're talking about for rural hospitals, did you know that it's not in the original bill? Let's talk about the process of how it got in there. Republicans couldn't pass the bill. Republicans were going to vote against it because it was cutting funding from rural hospitals. And so they just created a slush fund. Their plan all along was to cut this, but they got too much pushback from Republicans. So they put a little Band-Aid on it. And they said, here's a slush fund. And you can use it until the slush fund is gone. Once the slush fund is gone, what do you think is going to happen to those hospitals? Just magically, they're going to operate efficiently now? Magically, they're going to have enough money? No. Once this slush fund runs out, the funding is gone for this. So they gave you a fucking Band-Aid in order to pass this bill. And now they're going out taking credit for it? What a fucking crazy thing to do. Can you imagine if somebody like just walked up and like cut a hole in your arm? You're like, what the fuck? And then they gave you a Band-Aid. They're like, are you going to thank me? Are you going to thank me? Look, it's covered. There's a Band-Aid. You're not going to tell me thanks? We did this. I fixed this problem of yours. Like, bitch, you cut me. You did the thing. But that's what it's like being a Republican politician. You lie, and the people that vote for you don't have a fucking clue because they're lazy or dumb or both. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Anthony.
Wants to take those funds away. They're trying to make sure that the rural hospitals can access them because they know that this effort is underway. And so our members are doing very productive.
Bob, that's about the 80th thing that I've said that you said. You talking about that's hilarious. Come up here and talk to me. Like it's not funny. There's no scenario where me talking about a slush fund is hilarious. It's not a very funny joke at all.
We're in constant communication with them, and we are ready to come back and continue the work in our committees and everything on the House floor. We will return to legislative session as soon as the Democrats come to their senses and open the government. That is a necessity so that the work can continue and the members of Congress can do their jobs, and that's what we will do. That's our commitment. It always has been. This has to stop. We're on day.
Bob, do you think my argument is against slush funds right now? Bob, do you think that what I'm saying right now is that I'm against slush funds? I'm saying that they cut funding and they got caught, so they created a Band-Aid slush fund. I'm not mad at them for creating this. I would rather have the slush fund than no slush fund. The slush fund is better than what they were going to do, which is cut the funding. And this is what I say, Bob, when I say like you guys are like intellectually lazy and or dumb. That like you took what I just said there and you thought that we're like the left is anti-slush fund now? No. Nobody's against slush funds. We're against the guy, this dipshit here that's lying to you. And you missed it. You missed the whole point of this. And this is exactly why we keep saying, I think you guys are just dumb or lazy. How did you think that we were talking about slush funds there? That the slush fund was the problem? No, that was the solution they offered rather than actually fixing the problem.
13. This should end tomorrow. The Democrats in the Senate's next opportunity to end this, to change this and vote yes and reopen the government will be tomorrow. And I pray that they will do the right thing. And then we'll all...
Boy, your prayers don't seem to do shit, Mikey. But by the way, they don't have to end it. You could end it too. You could just agree to give the health care back to the people that you stole it from. You could just agree that, hey, we're going to restore the health care that is going to shut down these rural hospitals and cause millions of people to lose their insurance. And we took that money and we redistributed it to rich people. We took money from poor people and gave it to rich people. You guys could just change that. You could just agree to give the money back to the poor people who need, and even not poor people, but middle-class people who are going to see their premiums double. You could just agree to not fuck over the general American public and take that money back from the billionaires, or you can keep being cucky little bitches. And they're going to keep being cucky little bitches. And what they're saying to you, the American people, is, hey, we have to give money to rich people. So sorry, get fucked. We're not going to change that. Those people pay our bills. Those people pay for our campaigns. We can't take money away from rich people, and we didn't have any money to give them, so we stole it from the poor people. We couldn't just hand them money. We didn't have any because we're in debt. So what we did is we took our budget, we took this money that was for people who needed it, and we gave it to people who don't need it fucking at all. And now we're blaming the Democrats for standing up for people who desperately need money to pay for medical care, and we're calling them evil for doing that. Oh, okay. Oh, shit. My screen just froze.
We'll get together.
Jen, can you see my screen? Jen, are you there?
What do you mean?
So the screen that I see, like my Streamlabs screen, just all went black.
I mean, I see Mike Johnson in the screen.
And you see me?
I see you.
Let me just...
Moving? Are you trying to unplug something? You're plugging something in?
Well, now I just...
Now the screen's white. Here's one. Now it's Mike Johnson again.
There's Mike Johnson again. All right, let's see if that fixed it. I don't know what to do about this.
Now I can see Twitter or X. Are you still not seeing it?
No, it won't show up on my... Hit this. Hold on, I might have hit this switch. No, that wouldn't do it, because then you guys wouldn't see that. I have no idea what to do right now. I can't see any comments. I can't see anything. Let me check the HDMI cord real quick.
So I'm just going to read. Chair said we're doing the Lord's work. I'm just going to read some things that have came through. Christina, Professor J, your lectures rival any lectures I've ever had in college. I hope you realize how important your voice is. I wish I could send more on a tight budget. If you guys are new here, this is something that happens fairly regularly. Peapod is not the most advanced when it comes to technology. So that's just kind of how this goes at times. So he probably broke something or...
Oh, I fixed it! I fixed it!
Nope.
I fixed it. I knew I just unplugged the HDMI in the back of the computer and then plugged it back in.
There you go.
There we go. We're back. Fuck you guys for saying I'm going to quit and go play golf. Oh, but the screen is all sorts of fucked up. All right, we'll still figure it out. No, I don't want to touch things. Right now it's working, so we're okay. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, I was just explaining to the people who are new here that that this is something that happens regularly, that you are sometimes technologically challenged. So
Well, this
let's
is
just let you know.
this is Antifa doing this to me. This is the communist
Right.
radical left that is ruining my computer.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Chair says doing the Lord's work. Thanks, Chair. Appreciate you. Just Mike
And
Johnson.
have our partisan
I read
disputes and discussions
Christina's memo too. So
Oh, thank you.
on all the issues that remain on the table for the end of the year. We're doing our work behind the scenes. We're preparing for that moment, and we can't wait for it to happen. So the question is for the Democrats. When will Congress
Don't ask me the question, guys. Ask the Democrats. Don't ask the people that own the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Everything's the Democrats' fault, always.
get going again? And I hope they answer it affirmatively. Thanks so much.
Frankie, I'll answer your question. If you really believe America's fascist, why would you live in America? You can be a digital nomad and work anywhere. One, family. I have a daughter. Two, it's really expensive to move someplace else. And three, I would rather just fix it. I would rather it not be fascist. Right? Like, it goes both ways. Like, why didn't you leave when communist Joe Biden was in charge? Remember that? It's a dumb question. I know that, like, for you guys, like, conservatism is just whining and being a bitch and quitting when times get hard and blaming everybody else for your problems. But, like, my ideology is a little different. When I see a problem, I want to fix it. When life isn't going the way that I want it to, I make changes. Right? So what we would like to do is we would like to make changes. We're not just going to run away. And that's what you guys want us to do, because that's what you would do. If you didn't like how things were going and you didn't know how to fix it, you would run away. But it's hard to do. So that's why I'm still here. If it gets too bad, I mean, if Trump starts legitimately going after people like me, then yeah, I'm out of here. I'm out of here in a hurry. And I do think that there's a chance that Trump will go after people like me, and you won't care. You'll just sit there and you'll be like, yeah, he had it coming. Because you're a fascist. None of you are going to care, right? Like, would you care if they started rounding up journalists? I don't think you would. I think you would blame us for saying what we said. You shouldn't have said that. Now fuck around and find out. But if I didn't, I'll be honest though. If I didn't have a kid here, I'd probably leave. If I had a different life, I might still do this job and be a nomad. But I like seeing my daughter every day, and I'm not going to drag my daughter around the world. Here's another question. Talking about the mass layoffs. And one of the areas, because what Trump said, I'm going to go after Democrats. With these mass layoffs that happen, I'm going to go after Democrats. And one of the places that I guess he assumes is Democrats is staff for special education, which we've gone after now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We know the president moved forward with mass layoffs. So we are also learning there were significant cuts to staff at the special education services. Are you comfortable with those cuts?
I haven't seen the specifics of that, and I don't know. I do know that.
Isn't it amazing how Mike Johnson never knows anything? Isn't it amazing how anytime Donald Trump does something bad, he doesn't know anything, but then he's going to tell you he does know, though, how Donald Trump feels and what's in his heart and what he really cares about.
Education services, are you comfortable with those cuts?
I haven't seen the specifics of that, and I don't know. I do know that each of the cabinet secretaries were asked to assist OMB to determine what the most essential programs are and what the priorities are for the policies and all of that. And I've been so busy on all this, I've not had a chance to dig into the...
All what? You've been so busy on all what, Mike? Republicans, tell me what Mike Johnson's been doing while the government was shut down. What's he been so busy with? Talking to Israel? Advocating for Trump to get the Nobel Prize? What's Mike Johnson been busy with? Grinder, I guess? What's he worried about?
Details of each division and how it's happened. I know that HHS, for example, has cut some programs, but they were effectively all agencies in a triage situation. Because remember...
That's weird. Why does he know... Suddenly he knows specifics? He didn't know specifics 2 seconds ago because he was too busy. Now he knows specifics?
Chuck Schumer and the Democrats turned off the funding for all these things that everybody cares about. And so the executive branch, the Office of Management and Budget, has to determine what are the most efficient and effective programs. It's a difficult task. It's not one that they relish. They don't want to do it. Listen to the president's own words and Russ Vought's own words and everybody who's involved. They want the government to be opened. They're begging Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. That's how to make all this stop. They want this to.
Yeah, just comply, guys. Just comply. Let these poor people's insurance double and triple. Take middle class families and price them out of insurance. Just let it happen, guys. That's what the Democrats need to do. They got to stop fighting for the American people and capitulate to what Donnie wants.
End immediately, and they wanted it to end before it started.
How is it? I just want to know, like, what kind of ideology is that where you say there's no blame? Democrats have chosen not to capitulate. Republicans have chosen not to capitulate. How is it one side or the other? Somebody just explain it to me. How could it possibly be the Democrats' fault, or how could it possibly be the Republicans' fault when neither side is giving ground? How can you blame one side? You can only do that if you're a partisan and if you're a lazy thinker. But the reality is our Congress doesn't work. That's how it's supposed to work. If your car didn't start, would you just be like, it's the alternator, it's the spark plugs, and then just argue about that time and time again? Or would you try and get it to work again? I would like our Congress to work again. That's what they should be doing. They should be coming together and be like, hey, fuck, we can't get what we want. The government shut down. We better figure out a way to do this. We better negotiate now. But they don't want to negotiate. That's what they're supposed to do. I don't understand, like other countries must look at us like we're just absolutely totally broken. That's the Speaker of the House. His job is to bring people together and negotiate and get bills passed. That's his job. He's not the Speaker of the Republicans. He's the Speaker of the House. The president's job is to try and unify people. We've all forgotten that. We've become so hyper-partisan, and this is a Trump thing. This is absolutely 100% a Trump thing. Joe Biden passed bipartisan legislation. Republicans and Democrats worked together when Joe Biden was president. They didn't when Trump was president. They worked together when Obama was president. They worked together when Bush was president. They worked together when Clinton was president. They worked together when other Bush was president. Every president of my lifetime, Democrats and Republicans have worked together to pass bills. Not anymore. The only time they don't do this is when Trump is president, which is the last time we had a massive government shutdown, because Trump says it's my way or nothing, and the Democrats go, that's fucking insane. Of course not. That's not how our country works. And everybody who voted for Donald Trump is like, yeah, you got to do what the king says. You got to do it. That's all that matters. Whatever the king says, you just got to do it. And then the government shuts down. They're like, look at the Democrats. Look at them. They won't do what we told them to do. Again, probably why we call you fascist, though, right? So you guys don't want to function the way that the government is set up to function. You are never supposed to get what you want out of a bill. It was never set up to be that way. It was supposed to be difficult to pass bills. You had to negotiate. And it wasn't like one party wins an election and they get everything they want. That's not how this works. It's not how it was ever set up to do it. But there's a reason that every time Trump is president, we pass absolutely fucking nothing. And the government shuts down. Every fucking time Trump is president, the government shuts down and we don't pass bipartisan bills. And the divide furthers. And you guys blame the Democrats. Why? Because all of your leaders come out and like, it's actually never our fault ever. It's always the fault of the Democrats. I want to talk about Obamacare. We showed at the beginning. Let's show this one more time for those of you who weren't here. But this is the real problem. This is the real fucking problem. The government is meant to do what the American people want them to do. And here's what the American people want them to do.
Underlying things I don't think is necessarily appreciated here is just how much of a comeback story we're talking about in terms of opinions of the Affordable Care Act. I mean, the net favorable rating, back when most of the provisions went into effect back in 2014, look at that. The Affordable Care Act is way underwater at minus 10 points. By the time of the first Trump term, you got it plus 6 points. Look at where we are now, plus 30 points on the net favorable rating. We're talking about the Affordable Care Act on the net favorable rating being 40 points high.
Americans want this by a wide margin. And Republicans are saying no. We want these subsidies. We agree with these subsidies. It's their job to do what we tell them, but you guys have forgotten that. You guys forgot that you're supposed to tell them what to do, not the other way around. They're telling you what to do. They're telling you not to support this stuff. You don't really want this, despite what Americans say. By the way, somebody get your bingo cards out while people blame this on CNN real quick.
CNN, yeah, that's fake news.
Higher.
Is Jack Smith speaking now?
Than it was when most of the revisions went back.
All right, so I just want to show that polling. And now let's get back to Mike Johnson, because here's what Mike Johnson has to say about fuck the American people. Where did that go? We're down here. Here we go. Mike Johnson's going to tell you that the American people don't want what the American people want. The American people want what Donald Trump wants and what Mike Johnson wants.
President Obama, you have been very critical in recent days of Obamacare, and some of your members have called for repealing it. Do you support repealing Obamacare, and what's your health care plan?
We worked on repealing and replacing Obamacare back in 2017. I still have PTSD from the experience. You remember that John McCain famously did the thumbs down, and
Yeah, it didn't have bipartisan support. In fact, the bipartisan support was to keep Obamacare. Yeah, you lost that. You lost then, and it's worse now. It was unpopular then when you lost, and it's even more unpopular now. We just showed the polling.
And effectively by a one-vote margin, the whole effort was defeated. It's a great frustration of mine, and has always been of President Trump's. And we know that American health care needs dramatic reform. Let's just state it simply.
Somebody tell me in the chat, what's the Republican plan to fix health care? Prove to me that you guys aren't cultists. Prove to me. What's the plan to fix this? Laura said radical left donation. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate you. While I'm waiting for Republicans in the chat to tell me what the plan is. Christina said, is that the one you read? I think it is. We got a plan there?
Yes.
What? Oh, Christina, gotcha. Concepts of a plan? No? Nobody? Okay.
Obamacare failed the American people. It was promised to be a great success, to make healthcare more affordable. It's done exactly the opposite.
This is all they ever do. Obamacare isn't perfect, so we have to get rid of it. What are you going to do to replace it? It's bad. It didn't do what it said it was going to do. What are you going to do to replace it? Is bad. It didn't do what it was going to do. What are you planning on doing? Obamacare is bad.
And it has been pointed out by everyone that since Obamacare was created in 2010, premiums, the cost of health care, have risen exponentially. It's skyrocketed to the point where it's no longer affordable for so many Americans. And the access to care has been reduced.
Can I show you something? Yeah, I can. Okay, let's look at healthcare premiums skyrocketing. Where did that chart go? Somebody show me where the skyrocket started. This is through 2023. Can somebody show me the skyrocket here? The only thing that seems to have really risen at a higher rate is the amount employers are charging their employees. Where's the skyrocket that he's talking about here? This started in 1999. Obamacare showed up in 2008, 2009. Where's the skyrocket? Looks like it's just going up at the same rate to me. Are they telling you the truth, Republicans? Did Obamacare cause this? If Obamacare caused this, why were the prices rising before? You know what this is? This is a problem with private health insurance. This is a problem with these companies being publicly traded. But Mike Johnson's lying to you. And he does this thing that he keeps doing where he says, he uses definitive terms. Go back a little bit. He says, everybody says it.
Longer affordable for so many Americans. And the access to care
has been
premiums, the cost of health care have risen exponentially.
Have they? Is he telling the truth? No, he's not.
Skyrocketed.
I don't know how to read a chart. Homie, don't know. All right, tell me how I'm supposed to read that chart then. You tell me. Let's talk about this chart then. We'll go back, bud. I'll walk you through this. This is the price, the annual premiums for employer family health coverage. In 1999, it looked like it was about, let's say, $5,500. And it rose every single year until 2009. And then it rose after 2009. Every single year. What am I misreading there, sweetheart? What did I misread there? Did it skyrocket? No, I'm not gay. I just fuck your dad sometimes.
To the point where it's no longer affordable for so many Americans. And the access to care has...
Guys, the Groypers have arrived in the YouTube chat. They're all circle jerking each other on a group chat. Hey guys, let's all go in there and let's say that people are gay. It's gonna be so funny. All our other Groyper friends will laugh. And then we'll get together and we'll mash our tips together and talk about how we're not gay.
Been reduced, and the quality of care in some regions of the country has been reduced. We have to reverse all of that, and we have plans to do it. The Republican Party is the party that has the plans to fix it. Can we completely repeal and replace Obamacare? Many of us are skeptical about that now because the roots are so deep. It was really sinister the way, in my view, the way it was created. I believe
So sinister. Guys, it was so sinister how they had these public hearings and then they passed it through legislation. You wouldn't believe how sinister this was. He's talking about giving money to poor people for health care, and he's like, it's incredibly sinister. This is evil, taking care of poor people, just like Jesus said, fuck the poor. Remember that? Matthew 4:11. And Jesus said unto them, fuck the poor. Give all the money, take the money from the poor and give it to the rich, and then tell everybody to shut the fuck up about it and that it wasn't your fault. And then Jesus went along his merrily way. I think that's Matthew 4.
Obamacare was created to implode upon itself, to collapse upon itself.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I think the people who drafted that, the architects of it, knew that it would not be sustainable because their objective was ultimately a single-payer system. They wanted full...
Which would have worked! A single-payer system would have worked. But Republicans were like, we're not going to do a single-payer. What about these poor healthcare CEOs that need big bonuses? What about the stock price? We got to take care of rich people. And so they compromised. And they put in a private healthcare system that was subsidized by the government. So yeah, if you want to say it was like meant to fail, then it was meant to fail in the exact same way that our existing system was meant to fail. And it will, and we will have single payer, and that'll be the solution to all of this because it's going to become unaffordable, and these subsidies being taken away means millions of people who normally could afford health insurance can't afford it anymore, and then people will die, and nobody will get access to care for preventative screenings, and eventually the American people are going to be like, you know what? Maybe we should have health care. I'm tired of my family dying, and we'll have health care. But yeah, that was your fucking fault. You guys put in a poison pill. You know how shitty this system is. Everybody that can look up data knows that the United States has the worst health insurance system in the fucking world. In the world. It is the most expensive, and our outcomes are dog shit. It sucks. It's dog shit. Nobody wants to replicate it. Everybody looks at it and goes, the fuck? Why are you doing it that way? And we're like, because we are beholden to the billionaire class over here. They buy all of our politicians. That's why.
Government control of healthcare. That's a terrifying prospect for those of us who believe in low-cost, high-quality care. And so we have lots of ideas on how to fix it.
Name one, bitch. Name fucking one ever. He's been asked this question by every reporter that's had an opportunity to ask the question. And you know what he says? Well, we'll give that to you later.
But it is very, very complicated. It involves a big percentage of the U.S. economy. Healthcare is entwined with somewhere, I think it's 15% of the U.S. economy is the healthcare system. And you can't just rip it out at the roots and start over it. It's a very...
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do it. You can absolutely do that. Other countries have done it. You can do it. You can tell those companies to goeth and fucketh themselves, and then you can put in single payer. You can do it tomorrow. You can start fucking tomorrow. You have to phase it in, but you absolutely can do it. Absolutely 100% you can do that.
Very, very complicated series of measures and steps that you have to take to fix it. Now, it takes a long time to build consensus in a legislative body to do those kinds of things. And we have lots of plans on the table. We have whole...
You don't have any plans on the table. Why do you guys let him lie? Like, there's no plan. What plan? Show it to me. Danielle says Johnson still hasn't sworn in Grijalva. Is that Grijalva? And Marjorie Taylor Greene shit talks about Obamacare while praising the ACA. Yeah, she doesn't know.
Caucuses who work on this around the clock all the time. When I was the chair of the Republican Study Committee, which is the largest caucus of conservatives.
Manuel, I'll give you $100 if you can come up here and give me a better plan than I have for healthcare that will lower the price of or the cost. I have a plan for healthcare and it will lower costs. and I can prove it and I can give you data. What makes you happy to be a conservative is that you're confidently fucking dumb. And that's that's something that all conservatives hold. You don't know any of this. You don't know how to fix any of this. You're just sure that I'm wrong, and that makes you happy. And that's what a fucking dumb person would say. I don't know anything, but I know that you're wrong, and so I'm right. Therefore, I'm right because you're wrong. I swear to God, in my, you guys that have watched me, how many times ever have I debated a conservative on health insurance where we didn't leave with them agreeing that that was the way to go? I think it's like 90% of the time I debate a conservative on healthcare, they leave going, yeah, we should probably do single payer. There's people in here, if Drew's here, they all know. There's conservatives that are here every day that agree with me that this is bullshit and that we should do single payer. But I'll challenge $100 if you can give me a plan. Give me the Republican plan.
In Congress, back in the 117th Congress.
I do have a tampon in, James, and I've left it in. It's been in there for 3 days. Your mom doesn't let me ship it to her until day 5, so I'll take it out on day 5 and I'll ship it to her. You can have a little sniffski if you want to. I don't know if she shares that way, but maybe hit her up on that.
We drafted a book this thick. We worked on it for almost a year, and we had a prescription for how to lower cost of care, make the quality higher, and make accessibility greater. And so we have formulated all these ideas, but we've got to build a consensus to do that, and we were in the process of that.
Yeah, sure you do. Where's that book? Oh, and by the way, I don't take it out when I poop. It just comes out and I have to pull it back out of the toilet and back in. But that's just what your mom likes. She pays me good money to do it, and I'm a poor streamer, so sometimes I do weird shit for money. And talk to your mom about that. But I've really improved my diet lately too, so the smell I think it's better. You be the judge. Hit me up, DM me, and let me know how you feel about the new smell. I've been working on it. Mark Alford went on to C-SPAN. A couple of Republicans used their time to go on C-SPAN, which was a big mistake. We played Good Trouble talked to Mike Johnson, and then after Good Trouble talked to Mike Johnson, Mark Alford's like, I'm going to give it a shot. And it went about as well as it went for Mike Johnson.
Caller, you're up first here for the congressman. Hi, Debbie.
Hey,
Hi,
good
Debbie.
morning. Hi. I love Branson, by the way. Yes, a lot of people do. Keep coming, folks. I'm just really curious how you can sit there and say, we need to get back to regular order. Yes, we do, sir. We need to get back to the Congress making bills and legislating the Senate to pass those that are fair and in the oath that they took to protect the American people and to think of them. We're going overseas doing...
That's crazy. Sorry, real quick. Tona said, I'm newly diagnosed diabetic. Startup cost was almost $700 last week because my deductible isn't paid, so nothing discounted. It's a cool country we live in.
God knows what. Giving a lot of money to defense, laying off people. Let's get back to regular order because that's what the people of the United States need right now. We don't need executive orders for every little whim. I hope you, sir, as an elected official, will think of the people that are in nursing homes. Their parents are in nursing homes. Their Medicaid is going to be cut. What is going to happen to Missouri and to all the other states that their hospitals are going to close? This is not regular order, sir.
Okay,
not
Debbie,
even close.
Let's get a response.
What's his response? Guess. Somebody said, I hope your mom's not listening. She just texted me, so she might be listening. Sorry, Mom, in advance. Annette said, thank you. Keep us educated. Laura said, radical left donation. I appreciate you. What do you think he's going to say? There's a real, I don't remember his answer, but let's guess. The Democrat. I think he's going to say the Democrats too. Let's see.
From the congressman.
There. All right. A lot.
And also, I want to point out one more time, he's going to read this.
There. Let me talk about the nursing homes and hospitals first, because we were in the nursing home this week, almost all the way down to Branson, the southern part of our district. We were in several rural hospitals this week. We have 54 rural hospitals in the state of Missouri, 18 in my district, and that's why we put a $50 billion rural transformation health fund in the One Big Beautiful Bill.
That we were forced to put there by the Democrats because we cut the funding and all of these hospitals were going to close. And we didn't think it through, and we got caught with our pants down. And so we were forced to put in this provision to help you. And they're all running out. They're like, this is what we did for you.
Conciliation package, so that we could assist these rural hospitals. We know that when we're making reforms to Medicaid and we're kicking people off who are living in their parents' basement, who are able-bodied workers, who have no dependents.
Why do they all say the exact same words? Somebody said, I think it was, I don't remember if it was this chat or what I was reading earlier, that like the thing they like about Republicans is they all say the same words. Like it doesn't mean anything, but it's easy for Republicans because you just repeat. Like this is exactly word for word what Mike Johnson said. Living in their basement that are able-bodied workers, every one of them. That's not who they took this away from. I'm sure there were some people that were able-bodied, but like, who cares? Who the fuck cares? That's a big issue for us, that a handful of people were able to get medical care when they needed it while they worked. Oh no.
And they should be out working or having job training or at least looking for a job 20 hours a week. They're getting off Medicaid. I'm sorry, they should not be on Medicaid. Neither should illegal aliens. And
of course, illegal immigrants were not on any of this. I still see MAGA. Somehow you guys still are this fucking stupid that you think somebody who was here illegally got access to Medicaid benefits. They didn't. It's a lie. It's been debunked a million times. If you don't believe me, please Google it right fucking now. Right now, just Google it. If you are good faith, just Google it. Don't say, oh, I don't believe this guy. Don't believe me? Google it. Do people who are here illegally receive Medicaid benefits? Google it. Google it. Google the fuck out of it right now. It's a lie. And you could find out and stop looking like a fucking dipshit, or you could just keep being a dipshit.
We are reforming the system. We know that that's going to have an impact on our rural hospitals. And so that's why we put this $50 billion fund in there to help offset some of those losses. When it comes to nursing homes, I was just in a beautiful Baptist nursing home down in Bates County, which is halfway between Kansas City, where I am right now, and Branson. And I want to assure people, if you
that's so MAGA. I don't need to Google it. I'm living it firsthand. I'm sorry. Are you here illegally getting Medicaid from the government? If so, we would love to see those receipts. It seems like a problem. Also, watch out for ICE.
On Medicaid and you're a nursing home, you're not an able-bodied adult, and chances are you are above the window there for not having coverage for Medicaid, and so you will not be affected. This is a scare tactic by the Democrats saying that all these people who...
Oh, Manuel, your uncle is living off the benefits? What benefits do you get from Medicaid? What do you mean he's living off of that? Is he feeding himself with Medicaid? Manuel? Or is it possible you don't know what Medicaid is? What's Medicaid? No, Manuel, I'm finally giving you the attention you've been begging for a while. Explain to me how your uncle was living off of Medicaid. How'd that happen? How did he use Medicaid to live? Was he paying his rent with Medicaid? Paying for groceries with Medicaid? How did any of this happen? Don't get shy now, Manuel. Come on, bub. Explain to me how he was living off of Medicaid, please. Come on. Explain it. How did he live off of that? Just going to the hospital and you're just eating out of the cafeteria? Eating used bandages, Weasel? Oh, he got quiet. Where'd you go, Manuel? Where'd you go, bud? 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, we'll keep going. Manuel ran away.
who should be on Medicaid are going to kicked off. We're not kicking children off.
Yes, you are. You're kicking children off and you're kicking adults off. Yeah, you're absolutely doing that. Let's see. This is in the wrong spot. All right. Here's the only other part I want to do. I want to get to JD Vance. JD Vance was on with George Stephanopoulos, which is shocking. And JD Vance, again, not answering questions. I'm going to play JD Vance, then we're done for the day. If anybody could help us wipe out that gift goal, we're a little short on that. That'd be greatly appreciated. If not, enjoy JD Vance not answering questions. I'm looking forward to this. I really want JD Vance to run for president because JD Vance is a fraud and a phony. And if he's ever pressed for information, he immediately falls back into what JD Vance always does. When he's asked a question he doesn't like, he tells whoever asks him the question that the question they should have asked, and then he gives them the question that he knows the answer to. It's a good way for dumb guys to seem smart to other dumb guys. And you guys, the MAGA, you're the dumb guys, so this works. And you already have been conditioned to hate the media and assume that everything that the media does is bad. So when they ask a fair question and he tells you you should ask this question instead, you agree with him. You're like, that's definitely how free speech and media should work. When they ask you a question, you should tell them what question they should ask, and then you should answer the question that you asked yourself instead. And that's why we love J.D. Vance, because he refuses to answer questions and only answers questions that he asks himself. And somehow, like, that's like an alpha male thing. That's like a big deal in conservative circles. We love that. We love when people don't answer questions.
The indictment this week of Letitia James on questions of mortgage fraud. Also, Lisa Cook has been accused by the Trump administration of committing mortgage fraud as well. The journalism outlet ProPublica has actually published a story, and I want to show it up on the screen right now, that says that several members of the Trump administration have faced similar questions. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer entered into 2 primary residence mortgages in quick succession. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has primary residence mortgages in New Jersey and Washington, D.C. Lee Zeldin, the Environmental Protection Agency administrator, has one.
Lee said, from my contribution to the Antifa membership fund, thank you.
Primary residence mortgage in Long Island and another in Washington, D.C. How do you respond to critics who say that the Trump administration is engaging in a double standard here?
Thanks, Tiffany, for Tylenol.
Well, I'd say 2 things, George. First of all, ProPublica is basically a left-wing blog. I'm not shocked that
First thing I'm going to do is attack the source. I'm not. Just see if he answers the question.
you found a left-wing blog that can attack members of the Trump administration. But second, and this is the most important, is what does the law say? Letitia James was indicted in a left-leaning part of our country, a part that voted very heavily against Donald J. Trump.
That's not true. Here's another lie that he's just been force-fed. They all say the same thing. It is a very purple district. It did not vote heavily for Harris. It was like 54 to 48. And they are known for being extremely bipartisan in their courts. And the makeup of that grand jury was largely going to be split because of voir dire, right? So none of this is true. And none of it answers the questions. But it's good for MAGA because all they need to hear is when you're asked a question, smear the person that asked the question. Smear ProPublica. He was asked, why is what Letitia James did any different than people like Sean Duffy? That's the question that ProPublica asked. First, smear them, and then say that the court system is so biased that it must be true because Letitia James got through that court system.
For the crime of mortgage fraud. When I read the indictment, when I read the facts in the case, I see a person who committed mortgage fraud. Now, of course...
Somebody want to explain to me why the vice president of the United States is reading through court documents about fucking mortgage fraud? Somebody want to tell me about that? Why? First of all, I've never seen the DOJ ever. I've never seen the DOJ go after somebody for mortgage fraud. Right? Like, she went after Trump, but that wasn't even the Department of Justice. Now the Department of Justice goes after mortgage fraud, and the vice president somehow, for some reason, is reading the case. It's very important for the vice president to take time. I haven't read the fucking case. That's how little it matters to any of us. I could give a fuck. If she committed mortgage fraud, fine. That's fine. She can go to jail. I don't care, or pay a fine, whatever it is. This is not important at all. But somehow it's so important that J.D. Vance has read these details. I don't think he has. I think he's lying. I think he's just saying this and he's been handed talking points. But if he has read this file, like, can we get the vice president to do something else? Can we put him on something more important than reading the documents from a mortgage fraud trial?
The jury is going to decide whether she ultimately committed a crime. We don't try her.
Oh, and he's not answering the question. The question he asked is what was different about what they did and what she did. See, you think that the Republicans think that because J.D. Vance is speaking that he's answering the question. No. He's speaking. He's just talking. He's not answering the question. He's specifically not answering the question. He's doing everything but answering the question. He's just telling us that he has an opinion on her case. He wasn't asked about her case. He was asked how it was different.
The administration doesn't try her. A judge tries the case, and a jury decides whether she's ultimately guilty. That is what is going to determine whether she goes to prison. I think we let the facts drive this. And, George, that's what we've tried to do in the administration's Department of Justice. We've asked ourselves, has a person violated the law? And if that person has violated the law, then we decide to prosecute him.
Okay, so then why not Sean Duffy? If you're doing this, Because the same level of evidence exists for Sean Duffy as Letitia James. Why aren't you prosecuting Sean Duffy then? If that's your standard, right? Show me one person on the right they've prosecuted. Just one. Joe Biden's Department of Justice prosecuted his own son. You guys don't get to play this game with us. Didn't get in the way. The Attorney General recused himself. Said, I can't be part of this either because his dad appointed me. That's a conflict. So we're both going to step away from this. But over here, we are the law and order party. If you break the law, we come after you, unless you're Republican, in which case we could give a fuck.
That's what the Department of Justice should do. It didn't do that under Joe Biden's administration. It does under Donald.
It did do that. It did. That's what you're upset about. They did that to Trump.
Trump's.
On the facts, do you dispute the facts that ProPublica reported?
Do I dispute a far-left blog that I haven't read?
No, do you dispute the facts? Do you dispute the facts that they have recorded? Now, for the Republicans there, the question is, do you refute the things that they said, the facts that they laid out? Do you refute that? Let's see if he answers.
Do I dispute a far-left blog that I haven't read that you brought up in this interview? I have no...
What I tell you he would do, he would make up a new question and answer it. I'm not going to answer your question. I'm going to give myself a new question to answer instead of your question.
No idea, George. I have no idea what they actually said. But I certainly
He just
question
read
the
it to you.
source. I question their credibility. And most importantly, I'm not worried about what they said about members of our administration. I ask the question, what does the law say? And if the law says that you engage in mortgage fraud and a local prosecutor, a local grand jury, and finally a jury convicts you of that crime, then that is how the justice system is meant to work in the United States of America.
So, but that's what happened to Trump. And you guys all said that that was bullshit. Trump had a grand jury, he had a regular jury, and he had a judge, and he lost. And that wasn't good for you guys. He said that it was bullshit. So when it happens to Trump, it's bullshit. When it happens to somebody else, that's great. That's justice. Imagine being somebody who watched that clip and were like, I fucking love J.D. Vance. Here's the section of the article that they're talking about, by the way. J.D. Vance can't be bothered. He can read a whole fucking case file about Letitia James, but he can't read anything about his own people. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer entered into 2 primary residence mortgages in quick succession, including for a second home. For a second home near a country club in Arizona where she's known to vacation. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has primary residence mortgages in New Jersey and Washington, D.C. Lee Zeldin, the EPA administrator, has 1 primary residence mortgage in Long Island and another in D.C. Now, the reason this matters is when you lie and say that these are primary residence mortgages, then that means you generally get like a better rate, usually about a 0.5% rate difference. In a flurry of interviews and rapid-fire posts on X, Bill Pulte, the Federal Housing Finance Agency director, has led the charge in accusing Trump opponents of mortgage fraud. If somebody is claiming 2 primary residences, that is not appropriate, and we will refer for criminal investigation. Remember when we were like a month ahead of ProPublica on this, when Pulte said that? And I was like, oh, shit, he's going to go after everybody with 2 mortgages except for the Trump administration. And then here we are. A political donor to the president and heir to a housing company fortune, Pulte's posts online tease big developments and criminal referrals, drawing reposts from Trump himself and promises of swift consequences. Fraud will not be tolerated in President Trump's housing market, Bill Pulte has warned. Why are we even saying it's his housing market? It's not his housing market. It's ours. Pulte's big in Florida. It's big where I live in Arizona here too. But what he's saying is like fraud will not be tolerated unless you are Lori Chavez DeRemer, Sean Duffy, or Lee Zeldin, in which case, yeah, fuck it. It's fine. No, Manuel's got to be muted for a while. Manuel didn't answer my question. He doesn't want to admit that he was wrong about Medicaid. So sorry, Manuel. Mute him for the rest of the live. If I take time out of my day to debate somebody in the chat after you guys whine about it and then you run away, you don't get to talk anymore for a while. Then here is Stephanopoulos again talking about the Tom Homan bribe, and this is one that keeps going, I guess, underreported by the right. Here's the facts of this Tom Homan bribe. 0 people have disputed that he got a bag full of cash of $50,000. That's what the report says. When they are asked about it, they don't say he didn't get $50,000. The report doesn't say they said that he didn't do anything wrong. So the question then becomes, How did Tom Homan get a bag of $50,000 in cash and do nothing wrong? The reason we know for sure that Tom Homan got that money is it was our money. It was taxpayer money. I think it was the FBI that gave it to him as part of an investigation. And by the way, what happened is they were investigating somebody else, and that somebody else is like, hey, by the way, like if you want favors like this, just like go give Tom Homan $50,000 cash. Like he'll do it. And they're like, are you serious? Like, yeah, he'll do it. And so they went to Tom Homan and they gave him $50,000 cash. And this administration, law and order, right? He's done nothing wrong. Can somebody just explain to me how somebody would get $50,000 cash for a bribe from the FBI and they did nothing wrong? And here's JD Vance, again, not going to answer that question.
George, I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why.
Except for there is.
Fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding.
If you're going to talk to me, you should talk to me. Again, what does JD Vance always fucking do when he's asked a question? Insult the material from the question or the person who asked the question and then tell you what question you should ask, which is exactly what he's going to do here. This is what authoritarians do. This is what fascists do. This is what dictators do. And it's also what liars do. Just say, I don't know. You could have just said, I don't know. But instead, you're going to attack Stephanopoulos. And then you're going to say, here's what you should be asking me instead.
Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government.
Guy, why don't you ask me why Chuck Schumer's the bad guy instead? This is pathetic human behavior. Fuck right or left. I'll be honest. I think Katie Porter did something kind of shitty like this too. Katie Porter was asked a tough question and she said, I'm ending this interview, and she wanted to leave. You don't get to do that as a politician, and we shouldn't have a stomach for that. Katie Porter should be heavily criticized for the way that she handled that interview. We shouldn't allow politicians to do this, but my God, this is pathetic. This is really fucking pathetic, even for MAGA, to let JD Vance be asked questions, run from the question, change the question, and you're like, oh, I fucking love this guy for this. He's lying. He's not telling you the truth, and you celebrate it. Because you look at George Papadopoulos as the enemy. You look at me as the enemy, and you don't want to know the truth. You would rather slam somebody else than learn the truth of what the fuck happened with Tom Homan. How did the government give Tom Homan $50,000 in cash, and we don't have answers for that?
You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real.
Oh, did I say Papadopoulos? Sorry. I said Papadopoulos and said Stephanopoulos. Sorry, but wrong guy. George Stephanopoulos.
Issues, George, I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
Well, hold the phone here, because you just said you didn't know the details. You don't know about the video that we're talking about. You don't know anything about this. And at the end of it, you're like, fuck you. You should ask me this question instead. Instead of asking me this question where there's no evidence. Well, do you know the details of the case or not, JD Vance? Because 12 seconds ago you didn't know, and now you're sure? Now you're sure that that it's a hoax?
The facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
I thought you didn't know the facts 30 seconds ago, JD. This is why I want JD Vance on TV every fucking day. Every day, put this dumb bitch on TV. Every fucking day. He can't keep track of what he's saying. At the beginning of this, he knew the details, and or he didn't know the details, and at the end, he knows all the details, and there's no evidence of a crime. Weird, right?
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
Yes! Cut those bitches off. He didn't answer the question. No, George! No, George, I did answer the question. I loved that. I love that. But put JD Vance on TV more. I want to cover more JD Vance. I want to cover him just like walking himself in circles every day. All right, let me read last donations, then we'll get out of here. Jen, did I miss? Well, I guess I'll check. You probably sent them to me. Betsy said PA voters flip ballot, say yes on judge retention. Oh, shit, yeah. Jesus, Manuel, get it together. Okay, I think I got all those. Oh, I can check one more. All right, we're out. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow morning and every morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here wherever you're watching. We'll be goddamn. I hope they open the government so we can stop listening to Republicans lie. And then tomorrow night we've got date night with Admir. We're gonna go overtime to try and pay our bills this week. Like I said, I know times are tight for everybody, so we may just have to work more hours. I appreciate you guys' support. I appreciate you liking the stream. Share it if you can. If you didn't join the Discord already, make sure you do that. Then you get access to everything that we share every single day. We've got merch in our bio and Cameo as well. But mostly just take care of yourselves. And Republicans, I don't know, read a book or something. But come back tomorrow and you might accidentally learn something. Other than that, see you in the morning. Love you all so very much. Stay cute and cool and have a great summer.